November 1, 2017, a day Astros fans and Charlie Morton will never forget. Morton closing out the World Series in Game 7. He became the first Major League pitcher in history to win 2 Game 7s in the same postseason. Also won Game 7 of the ALCS when Lance McCullers Jr. closed it out. They reversed roles in Game 7 of the World Series, and Charlie Morton would hold the championship trophy. Today's Spring Training Astros telecast is brought to you by Whataburger. We welcome you to the 15 ballpark of the Palm Beaches as the Astros and the Red Sox will rematch after taking on each other in the American League Division Series last year. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to West Palm Beach, Florida. I'm Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. Bigger crowd today than most spring training games, Blummer. That's because the Red Sox are in town. Should be fun to watch this matchup.
It's always fun to watch these matchups. They do draw a crowd here in spring training. They also draw one during the regular season. An old friend across the way. Should be a fun game.
And Charlie Morton is a guy that pitched very well, especially as the postseason went along. It'll be fun to watch him make his 2018 debut.
There were so many good stories last year, and Charlie Morton was another one of those great stories. 2016 was not a great year for Charlie. Got hurt early on, had 4 starts for the Philadelphia Phillies, but Jeff Luhnow went out there, took a flyer on Charlie Morton, gave him a 2-year deal, and we're happy to see him again because 2017, he emerged as one of those back-end part of the rotation that did extremely well. He was filthy during the regular season, but he picked up a little extra filth and extra sauce on some of those pitches in the playoffs. The fastball was great, touching 99 with that bowling ball type sink. He also mixed in a couple change-ups, but that power curve that gave him that nickname, Uncle Charlie, was pretty good too.
You see what he did in the last 3 games, combined a 1.17 ERA, a 1.35 opponent's average, and again became the first MLB pitcher to win 2 Game 7s in the same postseason. He really fared well. You saw in those highlights against lefties as the season went along as well. Charlie Morton gets the start against Rick Porcello. We'll have more on today's action between the Red Sox and the Astros as Julia Morales will join us right after this. Energy. Try TXU Energy Season Pass. Call 1-866-CALL-TXU. Try TXU Energy Season Pass. Call 1-866-CALL-TXU.
Astros hosting the Red Sox on this beautiful day in West Palm Beach. Charlie Morton taking the mound already, getting set for this one, making a start here for the Astros. And that moment with him on the mound, one of the most incredible moments that have ever happened in Houston sports history. Of course, Game 7 of the World Series, the Astros crowned champions. Morton said what he remembers about that is Corey Seager being extremely aggressive, the ball rolling to Jose Altuve, and him just hoping that was really the 3rd out. After that, life changed for really everyone in the clubhouse, but Charlie said that moment doesn't change me. I've been playing baseball a long time, 16 years. That particular moment's not going to change who I think I am or how I think I pitch. I'm going to be the same guy that I've been every year. However, health has been key for him, guys, especially in 2017. He's hoping to continue that here in 18. Has had a lot of surgeries, different things in his career to keep him off the field. He's doing a lot of stretching, mobility, and hoping to be on the field the entire year this year. That is the big goal for Charlie Morton moving ahead. TK?
Yeah, you're right about that, Julia. Never made 30 starts in his career and never pitched more than 172 innings in a season. So we'll see how he fares this year, but our first look at him in 2018.
That's good. We love Charlie. We became big fans. What I knew previously about Charlie Morton was just a sinker slider type guy, but he has transformed himself into a power right arm for the Houston Astros. I think they're trying to get a gate closed down that left field line.
The Astros bullpen showing a lot of love pregame as they sent a little message along to their former bullpen coach who now resides in the Red Sox bullpen, Craig Bjornson. So that gate was still left open, but we're underway with Mookie Betts leading things off. And Charlie Morton delivers a strike to start this game. Mookie Betts, Andrew Benintendi, Hanley Ramirez, first three in the lineup. And that's a pretty impressive starting three because Alex Cora brought some of his top guys, other than the middle of the infield, and your DH, the former Astro JD Martinez. That's your lineup for opening day, basically.
Maybe he wanted to make an impression on his old team.
0-2 pitch is grounded towards short. Carlos Correa gets his second consecutive start and makes the play to Tyler White at first, and we're underway with a ground out. And that's when Charlie Morton's going well. A lot of ground balls. The bench coach of last year's world champion, Alex Cora, is now the manager of the Boston Red Sox. He and A.J. Hinch exchanging lineup cards. There is AC in the Red Sox dugout. He's over there greeting a lot of his former coaches and players that he was with for the 2017 championship season. Here's Andrew Benintendi taking a pitch outside for ball one. Benintendi's numbers last year, so far this spring, he's 3 for 7. Saw Lance McCullers Jr. make his first start in yesterday's contest and throw 2 shutout innings. Charlie Morton will make his first start today, and he's hoping to throw 2 innings as well. And then Colin McHugh will follow up, and they expect Colin to go about 3 innings today in his second outing. One pitch is fouled away. Charlie last faced these Red Sox in the ALDS. He started game 4, ended up with a no decision, left in the 5th inning. Astros would win that game 5-4 to close out that series 3-1. Nice play over there.
Tom Goodwin.
Tom Goodwin over at first base. Carlos Fablis is the third base coach. Pretty much a whole new coaching staff for the Red Sox this year. In the air above the leaping J.D. Davis into left field, and you hear a decent amount of applause. A lot of Red Sox fans travel for these spring training games, and they have a good contingent here today. Andrew Benintendi, the first base runner.
I think he's a guy that's going to need to have a breakout year if these Boston Red Sox are going to go back and try and go back-to-back as far as winning the American League East. He is a great young talent. The power didn't really show up last year, but he is still a very good big league hitter, learning his way around the league right now.
The Red Sox winning back-to-back AL East titles for the first time ever. Yet it wasn't good enough for John Farrell to remain the Red Sox manager.
It's a tough league.
Woo. A.J. Hinch ended up beating the Red Sox in the ALDS. John Farrell was released of his duties as the manager, and then Joe Girardi the same, as A.J. won the ALCS against the Yankees. Here's Hanley Ramirez.
A.J. was winning championships and
handing out pink slips along the way.
Almost got to the point where Dave Roberts said, "Are you sure everything's okay? If I don't win this Game 7?" AJ and Dave Roberts, very good friends from way back. Hanley Ramirez sends one to center field, where Jake Marisnick moves to his left for out number 2. AJ did want to clear up a story that was floating around about Dave Roberts. George Springer's wedding this offseason, it was widely rumored and actually reported that AJ stayed at Dave Roberts' house, which was a nice offer had he actually stayed there.
Made for a fun storyline during the World Series, but it never came to fruition, did it?
AJ actually did not stay at Roberts' house during Springer's wedding, but they do remain very, very close. Pickoff attempt at first base. Charlie Morton keeping Benintendi close. As Julia said moments ago, it would be so remarkable to see a Charlie Morton get to a 30-plus start year, to approach 200 innings pitched, because that's something he's never accomplished in his career. And even last year had that injury with the lat muscle that put him on the DL for a little while.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a scare. Luckily, it wasn't as bad as Charlie at first felt it was, and he bounced back pretty quick to get back in that rotation.
He was on the DL from May 28th through July 7th. Still ended up making 25 starts. Ball pops out of the glove of Evan Gattis. Benintendi on the move, and Benintendi's going to get into second base with a head-first slide.
You almost feel like some of those injuries were a blessing in disguise, because it gave those guys a little bit of a break. Little did AJ know they were going to go that deep into the playoffs and need those arms to be fresh. Pitch up, pops out of the glove of Evan Gattis, and Benintendi takes advantage of it, gaining 90 feet, putting himself in scoring position with 2 outs.
1-1 to count. You're right about that with the non-taxing of the arms. Nobody really threw a whole lot of innings, even with the postseason, with the exception being Justin Verlander. Most of his innings came with the Tigers, but
it's not fair to compare to him.
But nobody, you're right, nobody really got way over their skis in terms of innings pitched, despite
it was kind of a nice, little break for these guys.
Marwin Gonzalez is the second, Tyler White is the second baseman. Marwin Gonzalez is the second baseman today, makes the play for the final out of the inning.
That was a pass.
On this Thursday afternoon, Todd Callis, Jeff Blum, Julia Morales. Here is the Astros lineup facing The Boston Red Sox today. Tony Kemp's going to get a chance to lead off, followed by Derek Fisher, Carlos Correa in the 3 spot. Evan Gattis will clean up. Marwin Gonzalez playing second base. J.D. Davis at third. A.J. Reed, who played all 9 innings yesterday, back out there as the DH. Tyler White at first base, and Jake Marisnick in center field.
Rick Porcello will be making his first appearance of this spring training for the Boston Red Sox. He is the 2016 Cy Young Award winner. Had a great year. Had a tough time turning things around, even though he did pitch over 200 innings. Proved to be a workhorse in that rotation. There's some interesting numbers in looking at 2016 to 17. Just a couple for me. His BABIP number in 2016 was 269. That jumped to 324 in 2017. So that tells you the luck wasn't going his way either. But also the walks went down extremely in 2016 when he won that Cy Young. The walks per 9 was 1.29 as opposed to in 2017, 2.12. So a lot of hits and a lot of runners for Rick Porcello last year.
Kemp hits a ground ball to the right side and fielded there for the first out. A ground ball fielded by Zue Lin. Tony getting a chance to lead off. Yeah, that was, they would like to see the guy who's been pitching in the even years. It seems like he has had some good years, followed by a bad year, followed by a good year. Obviously, 2 years ago was his best year, winning the Cy Young. But the walks were up, and the home run really got him last year. He had allowed 38 home runs, most in the American League. Pitched 203 in the 3rd innings, with 236 hits and 38 of them left the yard. Derek Fisher, the batter, takes a called strike. Blummer mentioned Porcello making his 2018 spring training debut. Red Sox are really easing their starters into this spring training season. Drew Pomerantz will pitch tomorrow as they stay on the East Coast and take on the Cardinals in Jupiter. But they have not yet started Chris Sale or David Price. So this is the first of their known starters of the first 4 in their rotation pitching in a spring training game today. Meanwhile, with Charlie Morton going today, every Astros starter expected to be in the rotation has gone, with the exception of Dallas Keuchel. And we will see Dallas pitch on Monday against the Marlins. 1-2 pitch is a called 3rd strike. Good breaking ball throws Derek Fisher, and that's the first strikeout for Porcello. Guarantee all the 2018 tickets you want with a full or partial season plan. Season ticket plans let you enjoy the best seats at Minute Maid Park. Save money and receive great benefits all year by calling 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com/season tickets for more info to get your seats today. Carlos Correa had an RBI yesterday. Astros losing 4-2 to the Twins, only their 2nd spring training loss. It was just their first as a full team. Their other loss was a split squad loss on the road. No pitch is a called strike. It's 1-1. Porcello, 29-year-old. Began his career with the Tigers organization. Felt like he really learned how to pitch from Justin Verlander. Ball up the middle. That was not hit hard, but Carlos Correa finds the perfect spot between Zue Lin and the shortstop Devin Marrero, and into center field for the first hit for the Astros. Porcello pitched a couple of times in that ALDS. He pitched in game 1 out of the bullpen, a game the Astros won 8-2. Just kind of getting an inning under his belt, and then he would start game 4 as well. This, in fact, is the same pitching matchup, Porcello versus Charlie Morton, that we saw in game 4 of the ALDS.
Never fear, Bud Light is here.
That game was a pivotal game in the Astros postseason run. If they don't win that game and go to a Game 5 and use Dallas Keuchel after Justin Verlander came out of the bullpen in Game 4, who knows what would have happened in that Yankees series. The Astros struggled hitting against the Yankees in the ALCS, and because of Keuchel and Verlander, they were able to win a couple of 2-1 games to start that series. Balk is called on Porcello, who taps his chest and said, "That's my fault." Carlos Correa trots into second.
It's got to be pretty egregious to get a balk in spring training, and there you can see he wanted to come set, didn't have the sign, hesitated. I'm sure balking Bob Davidson was at home watching this game. He called it.
Kind of an awkward swing there by Gaddis. It's 0-2.
Well, when Porcello's going good, he's got good arm side run, sometimes sink. And if he starts it on that inner third, it runs in under the hands of a right-handed hitter.
We haven't seen any radar gun readings early on.
Yeah, not today. A couple of swings against Charlie Morton told me that he was throwing pretty hard, though. He beat a couple of those Red Sox hitters up in the zone.
Called third strike. Evan Gaddis goes down looking, so Porcello with a couple of strikeouts and a ground ball base hit in the first.
Performance is powered by Kubota. We're going to take a look back at that Game 7 of the ALCS with Charlie Morton. You see on our pitch tracks, brought to you by StatCast, that he had some very good movement. This was in that World Series game. I'm sorry, but I'm just sitting back and enjoying some of the movement because it's not the typical break that you see from a guy with a curveball that usually goes 12-6. He was working that thing up out over the plate and then breaking it down and into left-handed hitters, and they really had no idea how to create an angle with their swings to make contact and put that ball in play. It was extremely tough to face Charlie Morton in that series.
Well, that's, here's Jackie Bradley Jr. leading things off, so here's a chance to see Charlie facing a left-handed hitter, and that was an area that was problematic for him during his career. And last year, he not only figured it out, he dominated lefty hitters.
Yeah.
He held lefty hitters to a 175 batting average and a 561 OPS. And that curveball really came into play against against lefties like Jackie Bradley Jr.
No, he had pinpoint command of it, put it where he wanted to, but that 95 to 99 mile an hour sinker ball allows him to set up the off speed.
We do have the radar gun back here at the 15 ballpark of the Palm Beaches.
Good timing, 97 miles an hour on that last heater.
97, and then he's got the put away pitch.
Yeah, that's any two-strike count in a success rate. And Charlie Morton, in that top 10, putting away 24.3% of them.
On cue. Blummer, you want to say what that last
fastball? That was 98.
98?
Yeah, you still get spin rates on fastball, but that ball was burning in there pretty quick. But as far as spin rates, That's what creates the break on some of these curveballs you're seeing in these replays. And Charlie Morton was at the top of some of these charts as far as spin rate is concerned. I know we talk a lot about Lance McCullers being a high spin rate guy, kind of a new school mentality of curveball, but Charlie Morton, according to a lot of the numbers, is a very high spin rate type guy.
You said by the naked eye you thought he was throwing pretty well in the first inning. We've seen 97, 98, 97 the last 3 pitches.
Yeah, maybe a little bit better than I anticipated.
This guy is never thrown as hard as he did since he joined the Phillies for those few starts, as you mentioned pregame, and then last year, that velocity has played at a different level than at any point in his career.
And I really don't feel like his delivery is really trying to maximize and force the ball in there at a high velocity.
Swihart able to send one to center field on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball as he splits the outfield for a double. Blake Swihart, a 1-out base runner.
Swihart's an interesting case for these Boston Red Sox. He's one of those guys we've heard about, much like Peacock last year, out of options. They've got to make a decision on him. Does he make the team, or is he going to be offered up to another ball club? But a good swing on 98.
A pretty big spring for Blake Swihart, and that was a good swing, as you said. First extra base hit of the game. Andrew Benintendi had a first-inning single, and now Swihart with a double. Here's Christian Vazquez, Red Sox catcher. Up the middle, hits the mound, and Carlos Correa has the play for the second out. Swihart moves to third.
You like physics, you like RPMs. We're going to talk a little bit about it. This is how you figure out spin rates and the top spin rate on curveballs. Charlie Morton, number 1. Revolutions. When that ball comes spinning in, that's how you create that break on those curved balls. How about Rick Porcello? Another sinker ball type guy with a very good curveball.
Spin to win. This is your game.
Man, you ain't lying. That's a great comment. You know the Astros like that. Spin to win. Garrett Cole's another guy. We're going to try and find his spin rate. I know he's pretty anxious to come over here and use it. Justin Verlander was on that list. If Lance McCullers pitched enough, he would probably qualify to be on that list too.
How about Lance yesterday?
Easy cheese, pulled the string every once in a while, crazy movement, much like that.
Didn't need the curveball yesterday. Didn't show it once for McCullers.
It would have been great if Lance had a post-game interview and just said, yeah, you know, after today I'm just going to nix the curveball. I'm not even going to throw it. He would have sent the media into a tailspin.
Zue Lin, the batter, with a 1-1 count. In the air to left field, Tony Kemp, who has made a couple of spectacular catches this spring, eases into this one on the warning track for the final out of the inning. 2 strong from Charlie Morton. We head to the bottom of the second.
The second, Astros are hitting, and Alex Bregman is ready to call some home runs, right?
Oh, yeah.
Who's going to homer this inning?
I think Marwin has a good shot to homer. You never know with A.J. Reed. he might as well. But, yeah, I think Marwin has a good shot right here. He might try and jump him first pitch.
All right, well, we've got some housekeeping things to get to with you. One, let's start with your social media. Very popular on that. What made you think that you didn't need to delete the post that you posted of yourself shirtless?
Well,
We're diving right in.
well, you caught me off guard with that one. You know, I don't know.
I've heard about this from all of your teammates.
Yeah, they like talking about it. They like putting me in the kangaroo court box and finding me.
You also spoke of dad bods. What's a dad bod?
Honestly, I don't know. They asked me the question. They said, "Are dad bods in?" And I said, I mean, everything's in. So I guess dad bods are in. And they said, "How many homers do they have in them?" I said, "I don't know. Probably not that many." And then the quote was, "Oh, Alex says dad bods have no homers." But there are plenty of people in Major League Baseball with dad bods that hit homers. So way more than me.
We've given you a chance to clear all of that up. All right, let's talk some spring training. How is spring going for you? We saw you send a pitch over the wall here recently. Are you feeling good at the plate?
Yeah, it's going well so far. Just starting to get in a little bit of a rhythm, which is always nice. And then just seeing more pitching every day, you're going to get more used to it. So it's good to be back. Everybody's feeling good. The boys are ready, man. We're ready to set out and do it again.
One of the more confident guys out there and like to speak your mind. What are you seeing from the guys in the clubhouse so far?
I'm seeing the same attitude that we had last year, an attitude that we know that we're one of the best teams in baseball. We know that the World Series comes through Houston, and we also know that we're going to have to work hard every single day to get there and do it again. And we know the season doesn't start back there in the World Series. We have a lot of work to do to get there, but we're willing to put in the work.
You're so early in your career, still so young. Where can you improve? What are you trying to work on?
I think I can improve in every phase of the game. I think every aspect of the game, hitting, defense, base running, really every aspect I want to get better in, and I'm working hard at it.
I can imagine it's pretty exciting for you guys to play behind the starting rotation that you will start out with here in 2018. We just saw Charlie Morton hit 98 today, Garrett Cole coming in. What are your thoughts on these guys?
It's going to be special. When you have Charlie Morton, Garrett Cole, Lance McCullers, Dallas Keuchel, and Justin Verlander as your rotation, that's pretty strong. So it's going to be fun to play behind them. They're going to keep us on our toes. And we're really looking forward to it. Not to mention we made some bullpen acquisitions as well, and we also have a strong bullpen returning. So it's gonna be fun.
Guys, you have some questions for Alex that I can relay here?
Yeah, ask him for me that play with Greg Bird at third base. Talk a little bit about the mentality and how he prepared mentally before the ball was hit to make that play.
Alex, of course, one of the big plays in the World Series as we watch this play out. For you, the throw home, and then, we look back at some plays for you during the season, but what was your mentality as, the play with Greg Bird? What was your mentality there, and was there a conversation earlier in the season to prepare you for that moment? Yeah,
there was a play about 2 weeks before that that I tried to turn double play on. We only got one out, and AC and AJ were both like, hey, in postseason, let's cut down the run at the plate and just make sure we conserve as many runs as we can. And I was thinking about that before the play was hit. And, when you're playing in Game 7 of the ALCS or the World Series or the Game 5 of the ALDS or whatever it is, you play to win. You don't play not to lose. And I was just trying to play aggressive, and McCann made a great tag.
Just in those big moments, though, too, with all the pressure, and you had to think about what you did 2 weeks ago, how were you able to do that in that moment?
Well, when you're playing for 162 games, there's so many different situations that come up and so many things that you learn throughout the course of the year. And when those situations come up again, you're always prepare yourself in the mind before the pitch. And I feel like if you're ready before the pitch and you know where you're going to go with the baseball, when it hits, when the ball hits you, you just react. And I just reacted.
You got anything, TK?
I do, actually.
Putting you on the spot up there.
He was so at ease in the postseason, but did that first postseason AB when he hit a home run in Game 1, against Sale, did that kind of free him up for the rest of the postseason?
Is it hard for you to sit here and wait for the question? Are you getting nervous over here?
I'm good.
They're talking about, just you seem so at ease in the postseason and the first at bat for you. I mean, how much did that help you? Just kind of maybe ease up then, or get more comfortable in that big moment.
Yeah, well, when you're facing a guy like Chris Sale or a guy like Kershaw or the elite of the elite in the game, you go home that night and you close your eyes before you go to sleep, and you're thinking about it. You're thinking about what he's going to try and do to you, what pitch he's going to throw to you, and to start off postseason kind of with a bang and kind of get our offense going was key. And Altuve followed it up with another homer right behind me, and kind of got us back to feeling like it was another baseball game, and that we could do it, and it was cool.
Do you have a favorite moment of the postseason?
I mean, the favorite moment, of course, is when Altuve catches a ground ball and throws it to first and we win the World Series. But a personal favorite moment had to have been Game 4 of the ALDS in Boston to tie the game. It was pretty special. It was pretty fun, and just to feel like you helped your team like that is special. And I wanted to say one other thing to everybody. I heard about the talk of my suits that I wear on the road yesterday. I went and watched the video, and I'm going to clean it up this year. I'm going to go with more of a professional look, not so much the used car salesman. And we're going to go with your classic blue, a little classic gray, classic black, and yeah.
But the plaid burgundy won. It was a winning suit.
Was it red plaid burgundy?
Oh yeah.
But it worked. You guys were winning.
We were getting knocks. Our offense was rolling. We were winning games.
We love Anchorman.
When you have
Julia,
stuff like that, you can't change it up.
That's the show suit.
When I was growing up when we were 14, 15 years old, we're on the road for 7 days at a time at a baseball tournament, and I mean you're wearing the same sliding shorts every single game, and sometimes you play a doubleheader, you don't even wash them before tomorrow's game if you're winning, if your team's on a roll. But thanks for having me, and we'll talk more about superstitions next time.
There you have it, Alex Bregman.
We welcome you back to the 15 ballpark of the Palm Beaches. Astros and Red Sox scoreless as we head to the third. Tony Sipp, the new pitcher, after 2 really strong innings by Charlie Morton. Sipp will face the number 9 hitter Devin Marrero, followed by Mookie Betts and then Andrew Benintendi. So Tony gets faced a couple of righties and a lefty.
Tony looked pretty good last time out, trying to Get that split finger back. That was a very good pitch for him in 2015. Tony's thrown 1 inning this spring, has a punch out in it, faced the New York Mets.
A nice perfect inning. You are going to see Colin McHugh for 3 innings, but AJ bringing Tony Sipp here to pitch in the 3rd inning. What did you like out of Charlie Morton? That was pretty fun to watch.
What didn't you like? There was not much. I liked everything I saw from Charlie. It really looks like the starting rotation for these guys, they're coming out with a purpose, and they're completing it by pitching 2 strong innings.
Carlos Correa in shallow left center field makes the play. Gets a little glove tap from Jake Marisnick for the first out of the 3rd.
It was good for me to see the velocity from Charlie Morton early. That's one of the things you always worry about. A guy gets a year older. And you heard AJ out of some of those interviews that we hear him do back on the backfields early in the morning. He says that, in order to see if a guy's healthy, you're going to see the fluidity of the motion, and you're also going to see the velocity. And for me, Charlie Morton looked pretty fluid on the mound, and the ball was jumping out of his hand. A very good sign of that first outing.
Here's Mookie Betts, top of the order. Sipp misses down and in for a ball. It's 1-0. Mookie grounded out to short his first time up. Charlie allowed 2 hits in his 2 innings of work, a single to Andrew Benintendi and a double on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball off the bat of Blake Swihart. Charlie Morton has continued in the streak of very solid outings by Astros starting pitching. It all started back on our first telecast, February 23rd, which was Friday of last week. He threw 2 shutout innings. We've also seen Colin McHugh follow that up with 2 shutout innings of his own. There's a ball hit hard off the glove of Correa, and Mookie Betts is going to be at first base. Marwin Gonzalez asking him if that ball was knuckling a little bit. Normally you would expect Carlos to catch that line drive. It'll go down as an error.
No, it's kind of an odd spin to this baseball. We talk about sometimes it can knuckle when a guy scores it up, but I really feel that Mookie Betts kind of took an uppercut at it, created a little bit of a top spin, but you saw when Carlos kind of set his feet, sat down a little bit, the ball was still moving, and it's tough. When you have that ball hit right at you, sometimes you really pick up that rotation and anticipate where it's going to be. But it's also a play that we anticipate an all-star like Carlos Correa to make, so we do get spoiled, but the bonus side, spring training.
Well, spring training can really be some of the toughest conditions the guys will see all year long, too.
It's bright as can be. Everybody's wearing light-colored outfits in the back. This isn't your standard ballpark.
The wind.
Wind is always messing with things. It doesn't sound like it when you're talking about spring training, but there can be some extreme circumstances going on in some of these ballparks between wind and sun.
Astros yesterday committing 3 errors. They have a pass ball and an error in this game as we play in the 3rd. Not only was Charlie Morton very good for 2 innings, Rick Porcello was very good.
Yeah, he was. He did some interesting things. He was going with some off-speed early to left-handed hitters and then throwing that Lance McCullers, Charlie Morton type fastball on the inner 3rd with 2 strikes, bringing it back over the plate and freezing these guys on looking strikeouts to both Marwin and A.J. Reed.
Porcello ended up striking out 4 in his 2 innings of work. J.D. Davis with a double, Carlos Correa with a single. Scorebooks are almost the exact same on the 2 starting pitchers. Sipp up and in to Andrew Benintendi, backs him off the plate. That was a 91-mile-an-hour fastball that got away. Loved Alex Bregman last half inning.
That was special.
The kid brought it to the interview, and the fact that
he did his homework too. Did some research listening to our broadcast when we were talking about his suits. I like it.
He played in the game and then watched the replay later.
Yeah.
How about that?
Not sure if that's dedication to your craft or he was looking for an opening to come and get us.
Julia locked him up a little bit with that first question. Oh, there's a pickoff. Tyler White picks it cleanly, and Carlos Correa is going to run Mookie Betts back, and Mookie is out. 1-3-6 on the caught stealing. Astros are leading the league This is an unofficial stat because I don't know if it's true, but they're leading the league in pickoffs this spring.
Yeah, we could say that. But that was a heck of a pick. Good move. We know the Astros are picking off a lot in this spring training, trying to control the running game right there. But Tony Sipp, being a left-handed pitcher, has a good look at Mookie Betts leaning. But it really was predicated by the fact that Tyler White made a good pick and a good feed to Carlos Correa to close the space and get Mookie Betts. We talk about PFPs a lot. You also do a lot of rundowns on those back fields. Paid off right there.
Just about closing the gap, right?
Yeah, cut down on that space in between the runner and the baseball.
Called strike. Sipp ahead of the count, 1-2. Tony Sipp, last year 46 relief appearances for the Astros. It was his first time in 8 years that he threw less than 56 games at the big league level. Mentioned his wedding yesterday, he and his wife Casey, that helped recruit Joe Smith to the Astros bullpen, who could become a big factor down there. 3-2 the count. Good job locking Bregman up though on the Instagram question, Julia.
Thank you.
He's usually
my
got an
goal
answer.
in life
He's
is
usually got an answer ready for everything.
I know. Well, that's all they've been talking about all spring. You should have known it was coming. We had to clear some things up with him.
You did. There's a ball into center field. Jake Marisnik will amble to his left for the final out of the inning. So Sipp with the pickoff works around an error and ends up facing just 3 batters.
Twitter for the latest on the Astros all season long. Follow Alex Bregman.
Yuli.
And Yuli. We've got some pretty good guys on social.
Is the rumor true that Springer might be on Twitter, but not really?
No, he's not on Twitter. He's not on Instagram either.
Wow.
That has all been confirmed.
He would be so good.
I've had to ask him every year, I think, since he's been in the big leagues, because someone's created an account that his name is on. Gets a lot of followers, obviously.
You get a lot of followers.
He's a fan favorite.
I hate to even look at the new tally because I know she's probably
look at
triple us in followers.
Yeah, you put us together. We're nowhere near as good as her.
This isn't a competition.
Oh, it is. We've made it one.
No.
No. If I was, yeah, I would definitely follow Julia Morales. Any Astros fan should.
You're kind of guilted into it by being a, coworker.
Yeah, you have to.
I think I did when I worked for the Rays too, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't think it was a recent ad. Jake Marisnik leads off, bottom of the third in a scoreless game. The new pitcher is a guy who pitched for the Astros in 2011 and 12 and went to the A's from 2014 through 16. Fernando Rodriguez Jr. Fernando now 33 years old, 6'3" right-hander. Signed as a free agent with the Red Sox towards the end of last year, after being released by the Cubs in the middle of July. Two and two the count to Jake Marisnick. Jake 1 for 8 in the spring with a couple of RBIs. Jake getting a chance to start in center field today. George Springer enjoying a leisurely day. He was hanging out right by where the Bregman interview was before Alex had his chat with Julia. Now Bregman, Marwin, and George are all hanging out in that same area on the far side of the dugout. George looking good in the shades. I like the fact that Alex watched our broadcast and had a little comeback for us.
He was prepared.
That is
good stuff.
2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Jake Marisnick goes down swinging. 5 strikeouts of the first 7 outs for Red Sox pitching. Altuve and Morton.
It's a pretty solid combo.
Back to the top of the order. Tony Kemp still looking for his first hit of the spring. He has played great defensively, but still looking for that first knock at the plate. Yesterday, Blummer may have been the best.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It got a lot of play on a certain sports network, too, and it was pretty impressive. The more you watch it, the more you appreciate what Tony Kemp is going out there and doing. But you can know he's got the athleticism playing all over the diamond, but the mentality just to throw your body out there to knock down a ball is pretty impressive.
There's the first hit for Tony Kemp. That ball ate up the second baseman, Zhu-Wei Lin, on a one-hop smash. That should be a hit. They haven't ruled it yet.
It's good to see Tony stay back, continue to battle, continue to take good swings, barrel it up. And you can see that one had a little bit of topspin to it also, because Lin came in, and by the time he made that decision, it put him right in the in-between hop.
Here's Derek Fisher. Fisher struck out looking his first time up. Well, 2 of the best plays in any sport yesterday were turned in by Houston athletes.
Yeah, you're going to win either way if you're a Houston sports fan.
Tony Kemp's catch and left, and James Harden with the ankle breaker of all ankle breakers.
That was silly. I felt so bad, kind of.
And then hitting the 3.
Oh, man.
After a slight pause.
It's almost as if James Harden was looking back to see if the guy was okay.
And Julie, you talked to Tony Kemp about that play, right? About both plays?
I did. Well, I saw it early this morning, and I couldn't believe it because I had seen the highlight of Harden the night before, and obviously had seen Kemp's catch, but I was a little surprised that Harden was beat out. So I brought it to Tony, who was just really proud of what he had done, both on the field and on that network.
But then it flipped, apparently. Harden jumped him.
Yeah, Twitter's telling me that Harden's #1 now.
Both spectacular, but the Harden play, wow.
Wow, is right.
Well, just the history, you know, with the LA Clippers and the Houston Rockets, and then to do that and then just come back and destroy them like they did. There was a little extra in that. It was fun to watch.
Harden said he was looking at him, trying to figure out what he was doing down there.
Oh, it's just
we got to figure out Julia's winning percentage between the Astros.
I am having a year.
Right? You are.
I got it.
The Astros and the Rockets winning percentage. You got to be one of the highest winning percentages in the entire sports world.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
She's paid her dues. She's been here since 2013, and she has earned every right to enjoy this winning streak she's on.
3-0 pitch and a green light for Derek Fisher. It's now 3-1.
Rockets are popular in this clubhouse too. They'll ask me occasionally what happened. You know, the games come on real late sometimes for us here on the East Coast, so we don't get to see what happens till the next day, and they'll want to know, especially during the streak. They want to know who did what. So I'm usually trying to prepare myself before I go in, so I know what to tell them.
Are there guys that you would consider bigger Rockets fans than others? We see a lot of them go to games.
Yeah,
Yep.
Lance McCullers went to a lot of games. We saw Dallas Keuchel at a few games. Alex Bregman was there a lot. Those guys they're fans.
Jim Crane got out to a game. Yeah, there was a pretty strong
They
contingent
brought
of
the
Astros.
trophy out, yeah.
Did anybody make the first shot other than Correa of the Astros?
Of the
contingent?
Astros? No, I think it's just Correa.
Yeah. And he banked his.
I would say he slammed it home.
Springer clanked.
Can he hear you?
Well, the one
We'll have
thing,
him on tomorrow.
Yeah, they're going to be listening to our broadcast now to see what we say about him now. We got to be careful.
No, that's all for a good cause for sure. But that's been entertaining to watch.
3-2 count, and Kemp was thinking about going, so Rodriguez Jr. checks him at first.
You know, basketball will be pretty popular here at the facility in the next week or so.
March Madness right around the corner.
They've got their own tournament that they have here at spring training.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the free throw tournament, or is it the
Yep.
there's some kind of shooting contest,
It's
right?
a shooting contest, I believe.
Yeah.
Kemp slipped as he was going to go on that 3-2 pitch. So he's going to work the dirt a little bit around first base. Well, the one thing about Houston area athletes is they really, a lot of cities are like this, but especially in Houston. I mean, you see the Texans supporting both teams. You see the Astros supporting both the other two teams. It's Rockets. Like, those three major sports really are behind the other two franchises.
No, they do a good job. Tell you what, you get Deshaun Watson back, J.J. Watt back, maybe talking a little bit more and having some more support.
It was a frustrating year for the Texans. They just could not stay healthy. And the times we saw Deshaun, he was the real deal for sure. Tony Kemp on first, 1 out. With a 3-2 count, you would expect Kemp might try and go. The Astros did not have an official stolen base attempt yet this spring. There he goes. Pitch is fouled away. We saw Miles Straw attempt to steal on a ball that was a fly ball that ended up dropping in, where Straw ended up doing some wind sprints between second and third.
Maybe this is the drop and drive spring training.
No running.
No running, just drop and drive.
We will have A.J. Hinch on in the top half of the next inning. Right now he's watching from the corner of the dugout where Jeff Bagwell is also residing. There goes Kemp again. 3-2 pitch is hammered to right field. Kemp's going to easily get to third. It gets by Mookie Betts all the way to the wall. Kemp will score. Fisher around second. He's heading to third. Astros lead it 1-0 as Derek Fisher drives in Tony Kemp.
It's good to see the youngsters putting the Astros on the board. Good job by Derek Fisher fouling off some pitches, maybe on the outer third of the plate, fighting those off, and got a mistake. The more pitches he had, Rodriguez throw turns on this one. Mookie Betts out there in right field was playing extremely shallow and towards that right center field gap. And with that ball, a low line drive scooting past him allowed Tony Kemp, who was already on the run, to score easily. And we already know what Derek Fisher's wheels can do once you let him go.
Here's Carlos Correa. Infield comes in with 1 out and a runner on third.
Oh, man. Spring training, and you look in at your manager with Carlos Correa coming up, and he says, play in.
Hanley keeps looking in.
Well, at least he's on the opposite field side. It's those pole side guys that are going, hey, man, Be on your toes.
Rodriguez Jr. mentioned pitch for the Astros. Not like he pitched just a couple of games. He was in a total of 118 games for the Astros, pitched 47 out of the bullpen in 2011, and then 71 appearances in 2012. Won 2 games in each of those seasons. Facing one of his former teams today in spring training, 1-1 count to Carlos Correa. Ball inside, 2-1. Carlos with a ground ball single his first time up. With Fisher's speed, it'll be interesting to see if the contact play is on, if he is off as soon as Correa makes contact.
Typically, you do see guys go contact with 1 out in the inning. Force that play at home plate.
In the dirt, he's going to sprint home without the benefit of Correa making contact as a wild pitch gets away from Christian Vasquez. And Fisher with a triple and now a run scored, an RBI and a run. And the Astros lead this game 2-0.
Vasquez with that wide stance. That ball bounced well out in front of home plate. Vasquez did everything he could. Easy read for Derek Fisher at third base.
2-1 the count to Correa. 33-year-old right-hander Fernando Rodriguez Jr. Ball sent way up in the air. Andrew Benintendi waits for it to come down for out number 2.
Got away with one right there.
Carlos didn't miss that by much, did he?
No, and it's interesting to see how these ABs unfold. Runner at third, Carlos Correa up there. You're going to see nothing but off speed. Even though Evan Gattis is a pretty good hitter behind him, with first base open, they're going to see if they can get Carlos Correa to maybe roll one over with the off speed. But the second that Derek Fisher crossed home plate, changed everything, and Carlos Correa guessed right on the fastball. Might have been just a little bit elevated, just missed it by a hair.
Here's Evan Gattis. Gattis struck out against Rick Porcello his first time up. Takes a called strike. Colin McHugh has been warming up in the Astros bullpen. He's expected to go 3 innings. He'll pitch the next half inning, and we'll be joined by A.J. Hinch as well in the top half of the 4th as Gattis lines out to end the 3rd. 2-0 Astros. The new pitcher, and joining us in the top half of the 4th, as he has all spring long, the manager of the Houston Astros, A.J. Hinch. AJ, the theme continues. Your starting pitchers, again today, Charlie Morton's, have really done a nice job for you this spring.
They have. We just get us to the end of March like this. I mean, our guys are coming out pretty hot. You know, we had a shortened spring training between the first day and the first game, which there's always concern, is our guys going to be ready? You got Morton throwing 97, Verlander throwing 95, McCullers had a nice day, Dallas will be in there in a couple days. So so far so good.
Yeah, Dallas is the only starter that has not pitched in a spring training game, and now we're seeing Colin McHugh. I believe you said he's going to go 3 innings. Tell us a little bit about how you're going to start stretching these guys out from start to start.
Yeah, we've got a lot of guys. We want to make sure we have coverage going into the season, and as much as everybody says we have too much pitching in the rotation, you know, you're one injury away from really needing a few things. So McHugh's going to get a little bit extended today.
It was a pretty good ambush right there by Hanley.
But our starters, you know, that you're going to see 2 innings out of most of them in their first outing. You're going to see 3, and then you're going to see 4, and then we might repeat 4, and then you go into the season, you know, at or around 5 innings. So it's case by case with these guys.
Hanley Ramirez hitting a first pitch home run here to start the top half of the 4th inning to make it a 2-1 game. AJ, last half inning before you got on headset, we were speculating about runner on third, 1 out with good speed, and Derek Fisher in the infield in. Was the contact play on, and can you kind of take the fans inside the game when you do determine to
use it?
To use the contact?
Yeah, you know, it was on, and especially in spring training, you're going to see things that maybe in the game situation, they're probably not going to play the infield in. They might with 1 out, in the 3rd inning. We play the infield in all the time, so for the season, for the spring, anytime you get an opportunity to practice something or run a live rep, it's important. So why we ran it there with Fisher is he puts tremendous pressure on the defense, and the defenders, albeit good in the big leagues, only have 1 shot at handling the ball and making a good throw. And on the reverse side of it, with Fish, is he can put pressure on them. If he's going to get caught in a rundown, we're going to end up with Correa on second there, runner on second and 2 outs, as opposed to a runner on second and 3, and I'm sorry, a runner on third and 2 outs. Not a huge difference in sort of the run, the potential for the next batter. So it's not that big of a risk to run it there if your batter runner will get to second base on a ground ball that ends up at the outs at home.
So then the play yesterday with Springer, it was runner on first and third is a little different. What was that situation?
Well, we covered that situation in our morning meeting this morning because we made a couple mistakes, and most people will say, oh, the mistake is Altuve running into third base and not and making an out at third base right after Springer makes the out. But when someone is caught in a rundown like that, where Springer is in between third and home, the idea is he has to be running towards home to make the play go away from Altuve and away from third base. And then Altuve coasts into third, and we end up with first and third or second and third, depending on the hustle of the batter runner. So that play, you know, while it was good that George wanted him to come, had George made the play going from third base to home. Does that make sense? Third base to home as opposed to taking the ball back to third base closer to Altuve.
No, that's good stuff, and I figured it's only fitting with the Boston Red Sox in town that we talk a little bit about the electronics that are available in the dugout.
No watches for me.
no iWatches. Yes, we won't do that. But I know that there was iPads, and when you and I played, it was stacks of paper and some information you had to go through. Tell us a little bit about what the iPads are utilized for.
It is, and it's, you know, it's one of those things, like we all have those things growing up. Like if I'd had a cell phone, I'd have been all over it, but now I yell at my daughters for being on their cell phone too much. So, you know, but any technology that you can it just brings things faster to you. Back in the day, you used to have like VHS tapes, and you'd roll film before the game, like literal film, right?
Yep.
And now it's turned into something a little bit faster. Like we've had guys go up to bat, take an at bat. We take the video off the broadcast and can send it to the iPad. Dave Hudgens and Jeff Albert, our hitting coaches, can show the hitter literally a couple minutes after the at bat that you know they can watch it on the iPad.
Wait. Are you serious? You can take an in-game at-bat, fire it onto the iPad, and when he comes back from defense, he can watch that.
He can watch it. Yep,
wow.
100%. Yeah,
that's completely changed.
And it's awesome. You know, from an advanced standpoint for me, you know, I have a lot of notes around, and I keep my card, but the reference sheet, rather than have like our advanced packet is 70, 80, 100 pages. So rather than have a big booklet, I have the iPad. I can flip through it, be a little bit savvy with the technology, and the game will evolve.
Had a quick inning, AJ. Appreciate it.
Thank you, AJ.
No pitching change.
2-1 Astros.
teen ballpark of the Palm Beaches. For tickets and more information, visit astros.com/springtraining. And get out here while the weather is good. A little ocean breeze out there for the fans underneath the umbrellas.
Weather's been phenomenal this whole spring. Grapefruit
Absolutely.
League has definitely dominated the Cactus League in terms of weather.
No doubt.
New pitcher, this kid's interesting. He's a local kid, Bobby Pointer. Pointer takes over for the Red Sox at the bottom of the fourth. He went to Palm Beach Central High School right here in West Palm Beach, and eventually was a Florida Gator as well. But Pointer is a kid, 25 years old now, 6-foot lefty, who they have some high hopes for. Last year he pitched very well at the AA level, had a sub-1 ERA in 38 1/3 innings, only allowed 19 hits. I got him look in the Arizona Fall League for Peoria, and here he is wearing number 81 this spring and trying to win a spot in the bullpen for the Boston Red Sox. Astros lead 2-1, bottom half of the fourth inning. Marwin Gonzalez, J.D. Davis, A.J. Reed. Marwin batting right-handed, struck out looking left-handed against Rick Porcello his first time up. So Plummer, what you brought up towards the end of our discussion with AJ, and every day, I know the fans really appreciate it. We see their comments on Twitter. Every day we get some sort of nugget in our discussions with AJ, but we both learned about how quick they can turn things around with those.
I had no idea. And I'm a little jealous, to be honest with you, because, and we don't prep AJ by any means on what we're going to ask him.
Nope.
We pretty much ambush him, so he's a good sport in that sense. But when I was playing and when AJ was playing, like he said, on video, and then towards the end of my career, they actually had the ability to capture the video on a hard drive, but at the same time, nothing was available in the clubhouse. A lot of stadiums would have a computer room maybe behind the dugout or somewhere in the tunnel where you could go down and visit it, but there were a lot of times we would have to sprint back up into the clubhouse, into the video room, and beg the video guy to replay our last AB to get an idea of what happened. So the advances in technology and the speed you're able to get information nowadays is incredible. And that, like you said, I learned something new today. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's invaluable feedback for a guy who has an AB and wants to see. It can even be about a strike zone too. If you thought, hey, if that pitch felt inside, but they call it a strike,
yeah, am I losing my mind?
Yeah.
Or is it the umpire just missed a pitch?
Mm-hmm. Here's J.D. Davis. Double down the left field line his first time up. J.D. is having one of the better springs, just like he did last spring. He's 5 for 12 this spring with 2 home runs, 4 runs batted in, and 3 runs, and he is a serious candidate to be the guy that gets some time with Yuli Gurriel down.
Well, this is a similar setup to what we saw in St. Lucie against the New York Mets. Tyler White started at first, J.D. Davis started at third, and then about 3 or 4 innings into it, A.J. Hinch flipped him. So I wonder if that's going to happen here, because I agree with you. Swinging a bat like this coming out of camp, if he's able to sustain it and he can play some first base, might get an opportunity.
J.D. crushes one but pulls it foul. Plenty of distance to be a home run. A little bit out in front. It's 1-2.
Kitchen's closed. Come in there.
I think with each at bat last year, we saw J.D. get a little more comfortable at the big league level. Yesterday, A.J. Reed played all 9 innings at first base. A.J. DHing today, and he's on deck. 2-2 the count to Davis.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance, and hopefully in the next couple broadcasts that we do have, maybe talk to A.J. a little bit about that DH spot and how he's going to manipulate that, having 3 catchers and Evan Gaddis. Maybe A.J. Reed is a left-handed option as a DH.
A.J. on deck.
Plenty of pop in that body. He hasn't gotten the swing going yet here in spring. But when he does, saw his numbers down in Fresno, he's able to launch.
I think it's a good thing that they learned early in the spring about Yuli, because now they've got the entire month of March as Davis misses that pitch from Pointer. The local kid picks up his first strikeout. And now you get the whole month of March season starts 4 weeks from today in Arlington to figure out who's going to win that battle.
Yeah, you've got plenty of time to evaluate, and it's fair because now you have plenty of games to get these guys in there. You're not going to favor one guy with more ABs and have somebody else miss out. Now you have an opportunity to get these guys in there and maybe give them 30 to 50 at bats here in the month of March before the season starts.
A.J. Reed sends one in the air to left field where Andrew Benintendi waits for it. Good inning for the local kid out of Palm Beach Central High School, Bobby Pointer, a 1-2-3 inning.
Features and analysis, profiles of your favorite players, and much more. Our 2018 season preview premieres 6 p.m. March 23rd, and new episodes air every Friday before the Astros pregame show. Catch Astros Bases Loaded all season long, only on AT&T Sportsnet. TK?
Thank you, Julia. We head to the 5th inning. It is 2-1 Astros. Astros with 4 hits, Red Sox with 3. Colin McHugh in his 2nd inning of work allowed a first pitch home run to Hanley Ramirez in the 4th. Now he will face Christian Vasquez, Zue Lin, and Devin Marrero, bottom 3rd of the Red Sox lineup. Astros come in with a record of 5-2, and the Red Sox come in with a mark of 6-1, 2 of the better records in the Grapefruit League. And McHugh starts off Vasquez with a called strike. Christian grounded out to short his first time up. Good to see Colin McHugh healthy this spring. Last year he had a bit of a dead arm going into spring training, and then a right shoulder soreness. Started his season late. He was not activated from the DL until July 22nd. Ended up with 12 starts for the Astros, and went 5-2 and continued that perfect mark in September. Colin McHugh remains undefeated, 13-0 with the Astros in the month of September. He's also stayed undefeated in arbitration hearings. He's won the last 2 years. Breaking ball fouled away. Vasquez stays alive at 1-2. 106 games, Blummer, a 3.72 ERA in his career with Houston, and he's 20 games over 500.
Just your standard waiver claim. That happens to all of them, right?
And doesn't have a spot in the rotation as of now.
It's amazing.
Right.
He has done so good. His first outing with the Astros up in Seattle, he punched out 12. He didn't maintain the punch outs, but he maintained the winning percentage. It was incredible to watch. Really found himself a home here. Fits right in. But it's just amazing that you have this guy, a waiver claim, doing that much damage for you. It's great.
He is combined with Charlie Morton today. Pitching, they should get 5 innings together. Charlie 2, Colin 3. And then the next time around, there's actually a split squad game. It's going to be one here and then one in St. Lucie. You know, a lot of time it's service time that determines who goes, who stays at home, but it was so close with Colin and Charlie that AJ's like, you guys figure it out. I'm not going to say who has to go on the road and who gets to stay here in West Palm Beach, as Vasquez hits a line drive past Tyler White. Actually had to run through the bag in case Derek Fisher thought about making a play, because Fisher was way in and towards the line. But AJ said, you guys figure it out. And Colin was actually an original Met. That was his first major league team, and they're playing in Port St. Lucie that day, and he spent a lot of spring trainings there, and he and his wife, I guess, have a breakfast spot that they used to like up there, so Colin said, I'll go.
I mean, this day and age where everybody gets along is strange. I mean, it would have been buy me a Rolex, take me out to dinner. How bad do you want to stay home and pitch? But pretty amicable agreement between the two of them. And let's keep in mind, too, it's Port St. Lucie, depending on your rate of speed, it's only about 40 minutes away.
That's exactly right. It's not like it's a 4-hour bus ride.
Yeah, it wasn't a trip up into Orlando or anything like that.
Leadoff hit for Vasquez. Zue Lin sends one in the air down the right field side and out of play. Fisher a look. And a good catch by a fan.
Very good catch.
Brought a glove. Went right to the railing to make that play.
Well, that's what you do. You find the railing first. Wow. And keep the cool towel on top. Reach over. It was beautifully done. Get to the rail and lean.
And then gives the ball to a young fan.
That is an early spring training adjustment.
That's the young kid with the ball there.
Yeah, on the lower right hand side of your screen. That was all the way around.
Fan of the day.
Well, yes, absolutely.
Interview of the day, Bregman. Fan of the day, the gentleman with the towel on his head. Good catch, good sportsmanship. 2-1 the count. Good pitch by McHugh on the outside corner. Larry Vanover, the home plate umpire. 2-2.
Pretty good turnout today. A lot of fans in the seats. Also that berm. A lot more action on that berm than we've seen here early on in spring.
Ball hit hard but foul.
Not sure if anybody at home is wondering, but you're seeing some of these Red Sox hitters take some pretty good passes at Colin McHugh's fastball. That last one came in there at 88 miles an hour. We know when Colin is going good, he's hovering right around that 90, touching 92 every once in a while. A little more like it. Good location down, 90 miles an hour.
Tough at bat here for Zue Lin, who's walked 5 times this spring and is 2 for 8 on the spring. Back-to-back teams visiting from the Fort Myers area. Yesterday the Twins were in town. Today the Red Sox, and both times teams that came over from the other coast play the Cardinals the next day. Cardinals training in nearby Jupiter. 3-2 pitch is fouled away, and McHugh having quite a battle with Zue Lin. Also Christian Vasquez getting a workout. Postseason last year, Colin did not appear on the ALDS roster. He did pitch in the ALCS against the Yankees and went 4 innings of shutout baseball in his lone appearance and really helped save the bullpen in Game 3 of that 7-game set. Ball into right field for a base hit. Lynn with a really good at bat stayed alive and put runners on first and third with a single to right.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting spring for Zue Lin, getting some time at second base. If Dustin Pedroia is healthy, he might turn into one of those utility type players moving around a little bit, but Dustin Pedroia is still dealing with the knee issues. I believe we heard maybe mid to late May.
Yeah, Pedroia just finally, getting some work in spring training, but he had that surgery right after the season. You could tell in that postseason he was just not right.
Yeah, he looked miserable. It's unfortunate too.
Devin Marrero hits with a tying run on third and the go-ahead run on first. Nobody out. And McHugh misses upstairs for ball 1. Collins' first outing went very well. 2 innings of 1 hit, 1 walk baseball against the Braves with 5 strikeouts. Braves, the team he followed growing up as a kid in Lilburn, Georgia. Today a solo home run and now a rally with first and third and nobody out against Colin. 2-0 the count to Devin Marrero. Hit well to left field. Tony Kemp looking up. It's off the base of the wall. Vasquez scores easily. Lynn into third on the RBI double by Devin Marrero. Game tied at 2.
Just not seeing the crispness or the sharpness that we're accustomed to seeing with Colin McHugh. Missing some spots. That fastball was supposed to be outside, tailed back towards that middle end portion of the plate, turned on by Marrero.
So Mookie Betts bats. Betts reached on an error, also is grounded out. Mookie takes a called strike. Betts still looking for his first spring training hit. He's 0 for 9. Oh, 2 pitches pop back and right below us. Astros in the midst of a 4-game homestand, which is kind of rare in the spring. That's why we're able to bring all these consecutive telecasts for you. We have the next 2 after yesterday's broadcast and today's. Mets in town tomorrow, our lone night game on the TV schedule, and then the Nationals on Saturday.
That was a pretty good slider from Colin McHugh. Fortunately, it got spoiled by Mookie. Here's a look at that schedule that Todd was talking about. Had every opportunity to tell me to look at it, which I am. Missed opportunity, but
dark.
Kevin Eschenfelder, Mike Stan will be on that pregame tomorrow at 4:30.
Extended inning here for McHugh. His pitch count's already at 36. So he may not end up going 3 innings today.
Some action out there in the bullpen for the Houston Astros. And again, we say 3 innings, but what that translates to, A.J. Hinch is maybe 15 pitches an inning. So there's definitely a pitch limit as far as pitches thrown for each guy that goes out there. They would like to see them be economical and get through 3 innings, but it doesn't always happen that way.
One and 2 the count on Mookie Betts. Four weeks from today, the Red Sox open up their regular season in the state of Florida against the Tampa Bay Rays. The Astros take it on the Rangers 4 weeks from today. These two teams will see each other again this spring. They will play again on the 24th of March at JetBlue Park, the home of the Red Sox down in Fort Myers. Mookie staying alive at 1 and 2. He and Andrew Benintendi, pretty interesting combo at the top of that lineup. Both 2020 guys last year. They were the only teammates to record at least 20 home runs and steal 20 bags in 2017.
I'll be curious to see what J.D. Martinez does to the home run totals of the Boston Red Sox. That was one of the more interesting numbers.
Big strikeout for Colin, getting Mookie Betts swinging for the first out of the inning.
Colin McHugh going into that upper portion of the strike zone. We saw that be an effective pitch for him when he was claimed off waivers and started pitching for the Astros. Not afraid at 90 to 92 to be able to elevate and try and sneak it past some guys. Gets the chase from Betts.
Astros going to bring the infield in here with 2nd and 3rd and 1 out. Andrew Benintendi, the batter. You're right about the Red Sox last year. Just one player making such a big difference. The retirement of David Ortiz, and they were at the bottom in the home run category last season.
Yeah, they were a good offense, but the home run totals were just shocking to see it drop that much. 165, I believe, bottom portion of the American League. Just amazing to think that you add J.D. Martinez and all of a sudden that could possibly, if he has another 40 home run year, vault you into the 200 range. And it's interesting to hear people talk about Benintendi. Yes, 20 home runs, but at the same time, they actually have expectations of more from the young man.
Benintendi fouls one away. It's 1 and 2. Yeah, this is a guy they have really high hopes for as he progresses. Andrew Benintendi, part of an outfield that, and we showed the defensive run saved a few games ago. They cover some ground out there. Benintendi in left, Jackie Bradley Jr. in center, Mookie Betts in right. And they're all here today in the spring training game at 15 ballpark of the Palm Beaches. Not often do you see 6 or 7 starters come over from West Coast to East Coast or vice versa, but pretty close to the 18 for the Red Sox today, minus Xander Bogaerts and J.D. Martinez. Ball in the center field, should be deep enough. Lynn will tag up. Jake's going to throw to 3rd. The Red Sox are going to take the lead for the first time today on the sacrifice fly by Andrew Benintendi. That'll be it for Colin McHugh. McHugh has reached his pitch total of 45, as Plummer said, about 15 per inning. That'll equal 45 if he went 3. Instead, he goes an inning and 2/3 today, and AJ will go to the bullpen. So McHugh's day is done. He has allowed 3 to this point, responsible for the runner on second. We'll be back with more after this. this season. Go to astros.com/buddies to get your membership. Never too late to join the team. It's available for kids 12 and under. Buddies will receive 4 tickets to an Astros regular season game, a backpack, cap, socks, and exclusive benefits throughout the year for just $25. Visit astros.com/buddies today to sign up. 3-2 game. Red Sox lead the Astros at top half of the 5th inning. Ramin Gudwan comes in to face the right-hand hitting Hanley Ramirez. This is not AJ matching up. He just got to the point where McHugh threw enough pitches for him.
As you look at Ramin's numbers from last season, made an appearance in 22 games. Yeah, the splits last season against right-handed hitters, they hit .412 against Ramin Gudwan. Left-handed hitters down to .270.
There are a couple of lefties on deck. We'll see how Gudwan attacks Hanley, who hit a home run his last time up, hitting the first pitch he saw from Colin McHugh over the left center field wall, his first spring training home run. McHugh goes an inning and 2/3, allowed 4 hits, did not walk a batter, struck out 1. So far responsible for 3 runs. Also Devin Marrero on second. It's his responsibility as well. On the inside corner says Larry Vanover. It's 1-2.
Good fastball, 93 miles an hour from Ramin. Okay. Some of these young guys that have these live arms, it's a matter of being effectively locating that fastball in the low 90s and also backing it up with some pretty good secondary pitches to get the punch outs when necessary.
Slowly hit towards short. Correa really has to come in quickly and makes the play to get Hanley Ramirez for the final out of the inning. As Ramin Gudwan gets the ground out to end the 5th. It is 3-2 Red Sox. Buy rooms to go, where you get incredible savings all month long during the anniversary sale. We welcome you back to West Palm Beach, 15 ballpark of the Palm Beaches. Well, Astros and Red Sox rematch of ALDS Game 4 when Colin McHugh matched up with Rick Porcello. Both starters done after 2 impressive innings. New pitcher for the Red Sox is the left-hander Josh Smith.
Should be some interesting ABs. Got a little bit of a sidearm submarine delivery out of that left arm. 25th round pick by the Pittsburgh Pirates back in 2012.
Out of Wichita State, facing Tyler White here to start the bottom half of the 5th. Tyler White, Jake Marisnick, and Tony Kemp back to the top of the order. Smith struggling with the zone coming out of the bullpen. It's 3-0. Smith misses on 4 pitches coming out of the bullpen. Not only did we see a familiar face in the dugout for the Boston Red Sox and the manager Alex Cora, last year's bench coach, but Josh Smith was warming up, and the other guys who have come into the game out of the bullpen, they've been warming up with a new bullpen coach who used to be in the Astros bullpen last year, Craig Bjornson.
One of the best photo day mug shots we've ever seen.
One of the best guys you'll meet also in the game of baseball.
Yep, he was very good to us. He will be missed.
A lot of guys in that bullpen. Shared a lot of laughs with that guy over the last few years. Able to move over to the Red Sox along with Alex Cora as part of his staff, and now the Red Sox, because of 6 straight pitches out of the zone, are going to get somebody warming right away. Josh Smith, 28-year-old, has not been able to locate the zone in this inning. There's a strike, 2-1 to Jake Marisnick. Jake struck out swinging his first time up. Now it's 2-2. Fair ball down the left field line. Tyler White looking for a sign from Gary Pettis. It's a stop sign as Jake Marisnick with a double put runners on second and third with nobody out in the 5th inning.
Good job by Jake. See Vasquez set up on that inside corner. Josh Smith actually hits that spot, but Jake Marisnick does a better job of pulling the hands in nicely to sneak inside that third baseline.
Jake's day is done as he is lifted for a pinch runner.
Looks like it might be John Kemmer out there.
Or that Miles Straw.
There we go. Either way, it's going to be fast.
Straw was unbelievably fast when we came in the game. He's got as good a speed as we've seen in anybody wearing an Astros uniform this spring. So any base hit to the outfield would score 2 runs, you would think. Lefty on lefty as Tony Kemp takes a strike. It's 1-1. Tony with a hit his last time up, an infield variety hit, but he smashed one on one hop to the second baseman. Zue Lin could not handle it cleanly.
Whoa, good eye. Way to hold up. No.
Beautiful afternoon here in West Palm Beach. Probably the biggest crowd we have seen this spring. A lot of red in attendance today. Red Sox always draw well in the state of Florida. Infield in for the Red Sox with this second and third situation and nobody out. Breaking ball stays inside. Larry Vanover had a good look at it. It's 3-2. Into center field, Bradley Jr. drifts over, makes a nice backhanded play. Tagging and scoring will be Tyler White. And the Astros have tied the game 3 apiece on the RBI sac fly by Tony Kemp.
It's a pretty good AB by Tony Kemp, picking up that run. Not easy, left on left. Another opportunity for A.J. Hinch to evaluate Tony. Seen some good things out of the defense. Now that after the base hit in his previous AB, does a good job of staying on that pitch and lofting it into center field. Almost got a base hit out of it, but we talked earlier about Jackie Bradley Jr. and these outfielders. They covered a lot of ground.
Derek Fisher, the batter. Fisher hit a triple his last time up that scored Tony Kemp, and then he would go on to score on a wild pitch. And you mentioned at the time where Mookie Betts plays. Mookie Betts has so much confidence in his ability to go back. Fisher can hit the ball hard to right field, but Betts plays him rather shallow.
He does, and he does have those guys that can fly a little bit. They'll play a little bit more shallow to cut off those, the dinks and the doinks and the broken bat hits in front of them. But you've got to create some pretty good angles if you're going to try and knock down line drives, and we saw that last time with Fisher up there. He hit a bullet to right field, and it scooted past Mookie Betts pretty quickly.
Mookie and Jackie Bradley Jr. actually having a conversation right now because Bradley Jr. is pretty deep in center.
I tell you what, they mow the grass here probably considerably shorter than they do in Fenway Park. It's going to skip out here on this outfield grass.
2-1 pitch misses inside to Derek Fisher. It's 3-1. Outs above average. According to MLB StatCast, the Red Sox reside in third place, and that is some outfield proficiency out of that trio out there. Astros in sixth.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch some of these new athletic ball clubs go out there and track baseballs down. But that's how Fenway sets up too, is that center field and right field, you really got to cover some serious area. Much deeper than left field where the Green Monster resides.
You definitely need, if you're going to play, ooh, there goes the runner, Miles Straw, and the pitch is a strike, and the throw is also a strike. Actually, Miles Straw is safe.
I think Devers dropped the ball.
Rafael Devers originally tagged him, and there was an out call, but then Straw stayed on the bag after the ball was dropped, and the call was overturned.
It's kind of interesting not to see Derek Fisher not trail.
Somebody missed a sign, you would think.
The foot gets in there, but as Devers reaches up to show him the baseball, there ain't nothing there.
Gary Pettis is saying he can't be out. The ball's on the ground.
Yeah, that defies logic, doesn't it? Came out late.
So first and third. Pitch to Correa was a ball.
Maybe nitpicky, but Derek Fisher's got a ton of speed over there at first base. If you're and you know the runner ahead of you, and I would even say if Evan Gattis is at first base, a guy with marginal speed, if he has a guy like Miles Straw at second base, you've got to anticipate the fact that he might be thinking about stealing. And the second you see him take off, you've got to go for it and trail him. Even if you force the throw to second base and you're out, you still got to give it an effort.
Straw stole 38 bases last year at the minor league level, 36 for Bowie's Creek and a couple of Corpus Christi. We mentioned he's one of the fastest players in spring training.
But typically when you get two burners out there like a Straws and a Derek Fisher, one guy goes, the other guy goes, and it's usually two easy stolen bases.
Unless the guy gets a really poor jump at first or is the slower of the two runners by a good margin, the play is going to try to be made at third.
Yeah, if I'm at first base and Miles Straw is at second, they're throwing down. They're going to second base to get the out.
But not with Fisher.
No. You got some tough choices. You try and get the shorter throw to third base.
And what that does, it keeps the double play in order with him still at first. 2-0 count to Correa. Pitcher fooled by the lefty move a little bit. He was headed back to the bag on that delivery home. It's 2-1. Correa has 2 RBIs this spring. They've both been on infield base hits. 2-2 the count. Usually we've seen the starters get 3 at-bats these last couple of games. We already saw Jake Marisnick leave the game for a pinch runner. Imagine this will be Carlos Correa's final at-bat. And he has run the count full. So with Fisher's speed and the fact that there's 1 out in the inning, you would anticipate he'll be off with the pitch.
Yeah, he's going to have to make real sure that Josh Smith goes towards home plate, especially with Carlos Correa at the plate. You don't want to give another out.
Fisher does go, ground ball towards short. Fisher is safe at second base. The run scores. Correa safe at first. Everybody safe, and the Astros lead this game 4-3.
It's something you don't see very often, but it's also a credit to the fact that Derek Fisher is one of the fastest, if not the fastest Astro on that team. He didn't get the greatest of jumps, but he got a jump. Gave him a couple extra steps. And with that speed, it's able to allow him to get in there before that throw and disrupt that turn at second base by Lynn.
Correa really hustling too. He knows a double play ends the inning and a fielder's choice gives him an RBI. He ended up with everybody safe.
It's March 1st, by the way. And you just saw Carlos Correa sprint through first base trying to allow that run to score. So it's a testament to how you go out and play the game and lead by example by hustling the whole way.
We saw that the other day with Reddick on second, and Correa beat out an infield hit hustling all the way, and Reddick came all the way around to score on an infield hit.
Yep.
Correa's day is done as he is lifted for a pinch runner.
Yeah, it won't end up as a hit in the box score, but it will end up as a very positive play and something they can look back on.
Evan Gaddis pops one into shallow left field, so shallow that the shortstop Marrero makes the play for out number 2. So 2 runners on for Marwin Gonzalez. Derek Fisher on second. Anibal Sierra is the runner on first. And Marwin sends a breaking ball. Wind might blow this one into the crowd, and it does. Devers gave it a look, as did Marrero. I was watching the same thing you were with Fisher. That was remarkable because he had to hesitate for the exact reason you mentioned, because Smith had him fooled on a couple of pickoff throws, and he got a terrible jump.
But just enough to be able to get in there with that speed to disrupt that turn.
StatCast will tell you he was the fastest Astro last year. And they were happy to have him pitch run for Brian McCann at second base in Game 5 of the World Series.
One extreme to the next.
Woo. Fisher cut that third base bag, and the celebration would be on. 13-12. How about Bregman saying his highlight was the home run against Sale to tie the game in Game 4 of the ALDS?
Instead of the game-winning hit in Game 5 of the World Series?
Instead of the biggest sports
he had
moment of the
several
year.
to pick from, but
right.
Wow.
Houston Sports Awards, it was the sports moment of the year, was that hit.
But it was not good enough for Alex.
Hey, the homer against Sale.
That was awesome. That was a huge blow.
Yeah. It's hard to fault him for liking that one. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, to walk it off in that incredible game, 13-12 in 10 innings. 2-1. It's nice for Alex at age 23 to have all these memories of postseason heroics already in his book. Orbit entertaining the crowd.
Yeah, he got kind of a big head after that World Series championship. Orbit, that is.
2-2 the count to Marwin. Marwin looking for his first hit today. He's 3 for 10 on the spring. Extended inning for the lefty, Josh Smith, as he almost hits Marwin on that breaking ball at the feet. 31 pitches in. This could be the last batter that Josh Smith will face today. Able to come back with a strikeout, but the Astros score a couple of runs in the inning and take a 4-3 lead into the 6th.
The 2018 Astros are on sale beginning tomorrow. We are in March and they go on sale March 2nd. Catch all the excitement at Minute Maid Park with matchups against rivals like the Yankees, Red Sox, Rangers, and Indians. For more information, visit astros.com/tickets or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Yes, the day is finally here.
It is. Happy March, everybody.
Happy March 2nd. Everybody waiting to get their individual game tickets. It is tomorrow.
And you better get them because Major League Baseball starts in March this year.
That's right. March 29th, 4 weeks from today. Rafael Devers leading things off. Raymond Goudouin, who got the final out of the 5th inning, remains in there. A lot of changes for the Astros in the field defensively. Get to those as we move along. But a new a new catcher. Goudouin stays on the pitch. The new catcher is Max Stassi. Evan Gaddis is done. J.D. Davis moved across the diamond from third base to first base. Tyler White shifted on the right side of the infield from first base to second base. Anibal Sierra is the new shortstop. Jack Mayfield's the new third baseman. And the ball is popped up with Tyler White, the new second baseman, deferring to the new first baseman, J.D. Davis, who makes an adjustment with that wind blowing from right field to make the catch for the first out.
I think Tyler White deferred to the guy with the bigger glove. This is where your second baseman's got to step in. But again, these guys being able to move all over the place, he's got to learn how to play these positions. And J.D. battling that sun, got the sunglasses on top of the hat. Made a good play.
Jackie Bradley Jr. gets his third at bat. Struck out on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball from Charlie Morton his first time up and then flied out to center. Charlie Morton continued a string of outstanding starts for A.J. Hinch this season in the spring. 1-0 pitch to Bradley Jr. is lined off the top of the glove by J.D. Davis. He's frustrated. He felt like he could have had that. That would have been an outstanding play had he come down with it just off the very top of the webbing.
Good effort. And again, when you're moving to different sides of the field, the angles change, the ball off the bat can fool you a little bit, but JD actually got a pretty good jump on that one, just didn't elevate enough to get the catch.
Here's Blake Swihart. Nice when you're learning the nuances of first base, and there's a guy in camp who went into the Hall of Fame last year who's teaching you the nuances.
And learned the transition from moving from third base to first base. It's always very good. Jeff Bagwell, one of the best.
Bagwell joined us on the broadcast yesterday down there in the dugout next to A.J. Hinch. Said he was telling them to move their feet a little bit, mostly eye wash, but that's just him being humble. You know that the Tyler Whites and the J.D. Davises and the A.J. Reeds were locked in when he was telling them.
Yeah, it's eye wash when you got a plaque in Cooperstown, but to these kids out here, they're soaking up the information. And it's just second nature for Jeff Bagwell. He had very good feet. He moved great around the bag. So he feels like he's just saying that's something that comes naturally, where it might actually mean something to a guy like Tyler White or a J.D. Davis or even a Marwin Gonzalez, who's played quite a bit over there. Because a lot of it is footwork. And this day and age, when you start to see some of these shifts on right-handed hitters, first basemen's playing almost closer to second base than they are first base. So they've got to have good wheels to anticipate getting back to the bag, but also picking up that baseball as it's coming across the diamond.
Goudouin getting a strikeout there. Swihart batting right-handed. Baggy and AJ having a little discussion in game. We had a great chat yesterday. We had about a 10-minute top half of the sixth inning.
At least. It was great.
He said he'll be here till the weekend, till Saturday, so be part of AJ Hinch's coaching staff until then.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try and catch him tomorrow, pick his brain a little bit more, see if we can squeeze him for a little more information while he's down here.
Can I tease the fact that there could be a demo or two that you guys might work on?
Yeah, we're working on it. I know it's in the works, and a lot of it has to do with the time that Jeff Bagwell does have down here, and I know that we're maybe getting a little selfish and wanting to talk to him a little bit more. But if we have a chance to get him on camera and actually show some of that footwork and how to deal with first base, you know, bump plays aren't what they used to be because you don't see him as often, but Jeff Bagwell was one of the best at getting as many outs on a bunt as he could.
Ground ball, fielder's choice. Raymond Goudouin, after an infield hit, gets the rest of the inning done.
today, but if you're at the FIT-Team ballpark of the Palm Beaches, you see him every game on the Jumbotron doing PSAs. He's partnered with MD Anderson, encouraging fans to eat healthy, take care of themselves, exercise, and wear sunscreen. They're raising awareness for cancer, specifically skin cancer. And for Colin, all of this is very close to his heart as his father battled the disease, but is doing great, I might add. However, this free skin cancer screenings are going on right here at the ballpark for anyone who comes in. MD Anderson doing their part, bringing in Dr. Susan Chan, who looks over everything. They've got a private little room for you. So if you are coming out here in the next week or so, make sure to check that out and get yourself screened. Redheads, as myself, we know we have to do that often. So I got in there and met with Dr. Chan and had a really nice time. Very nice people coming all the way out from Houston with MD Anderson Cancer Center to give that and provide that to the fans, guys.
And what was the result?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Awesome.
I'm good.
Yeah,
it is a
stay
little
that way.
nerve-wracking, you know, when you go meet with a doctor and you think you just walk in there, and then I got a little nervous, and she told me I was all good, but she reminded me to reapply the sunscreen, gave me some good pointers to take with me, so I'll definitely continue to do that.
Oscar Hernandez unable to find that foul ball off the bat of J.D. Davis, who extends the at-bat. Good job, Julia. MD Anderson, always such a big factor in and around the city of Houston and around the country, and making a presence here at the ballpark today. So when do you reapply? Do you pick an inning, Julia, just random?
They're actually saying do it in the fifth. It's about every 2 hours they want you to reapply, but here at the ballpark they will remind fans. Something actually comes on the Jumbotron and tells fans to reapply around the 5th inning. So it's like the 7th inning stretch, but the 5th inning reapplication of sunscreen.
There you go.
That's how you remember.
You got some cool sunglasses from them too. 2-1 the count to J.D. Davis. Pitch misses. New pitcher for the Red Sox. They have another lefty out there, Daniel McGrath. McGrath from Melbourne, Australia. He's 23 years old, 6'3", 205-pounder. JD with a count of 3-1. Red Sox also made changes to every position player with the exception of their middle of the infield, as J.D. Davis draws a walk. J.D. now 1 for 2 on the day, a double, a strikeout, and a walk to lead off the bottom half of the 6th.
Take a bucket of sunscreen to protect that skull.
Orbit working the crowd. Over behind the Astros dugout as A.J. Reed takes a pitch outside for a ball, 1-0. New catchers Oscar Hernandez, Sam Travis, and Ivan De Jesus Jr. are the first and third basemen who have taken over in the bottom half of the 6th. New outfield from left to right, Steve Selski, Nuri Tavares, and Rusney Castillo. So if you're going with just the starters for your final score today, it was the Astros winning 4-3 with most of the regulars from the Red Sox and decent amount of regulars for the Astros in the lineup today. Now it's up to kids in the Red Sox and Astros organizations, although A.J. Reed's getting a chance to get a third at bat. We saw him play all 9 innings yesterday. See if anybody plays the full 9 today. Tony Kemp might. He's leading off in left field. Derek Fisher's still in there, batting second and right. Breaking ball doesn't break. Hits A.J. Reed, putting runners on first and second. McGrath pitched last year for the Salem Red Sox, 34 games, 11 starts. Now face Tyler White. There's a little stretch last year where lived up to that great white moniker. He was hitting the ball hard almost every AB.
Dropping bombs.
There's chum in the water for Tyler for a while. As he takes a strike, it's 0-1.
Keep it going.
And it. and it.
Yeah, we never got one of those shark hats, did we?
No. He had a 22-game stint with the Astros in which he had 9 extra base hits, 6 doubles, 3 homers, and an .853 OPS.
Like it.
Pretty impressive season for Tyler. Talked to Julia before the game, and he talked about his consistency. That seemed to be the buzzword for Tyler today, just how consistent he was able to be last season and how he felt like something he'd like to carry over this year. He's 27 years old. He knows there's a spot out there to make the Major League Opening Day roster. Saw him start at first base and now plays second base.
He's coming off a really good season there in Fresno as well. Guys, we talked about A.J. Reed coming in shape. Tyler White lost a bunch of weight a couple of years ago, and he's kept it off, and that's really helped him in all aspects of his game. But definitely getting in the reps with Jeff Bagwell, like you guys were talking about earlier. Tyler's been back there working. Very just hopeful for the opportunity to make another opening day roster.
Right about his Fresno season, Julia. 300 average, 25 home runs, 89 runs batted in. Scored 84. Again, that's a limited season for him, just 111 games because of the call-up, and they play 1 fewer month in the minor leagues. We'll talk to you a little bit this year with our StatCast numbers about barrels. And barrels per plate appearance amongst guys with at least 30 batted balls. Tyler White was 12th.
It's not bad.
Barrel is a combination of the optimum launch angle and exit velocity of 95 or more. That's a nice exit velocity, a ball down the left field line. Tyler White drives in at least one. A.J. Reed around third. He'll be waved home by Gary Pettis. The relay throw is not in time. White caught up between second and third, but now no one covering second, and Tyler White will be safe. 2 RBI double, and he stays on the bag as the Astros now lead 6-3. The great white shark strikes again.
It was a good job by you pumping him up, and a good job by Tyler White backing you up by driving this pitch. Set up inside. He swung through a couple of changeups earlier, but does a great job of pulling the hands in and ripping this ball down the left field line. Gutsy move by Gary Pettis, waving A.J. Reed around, but again, with no outs on the board, why not give it a shot, force him to get that out at home plate, because Tyler White will end up in scoring position no matter what. I think if they had to do it over again, DeJesus would have let that ball get through and maybe get A.J. Reed at home plate. But a lot of fundamental breakdowns in that play, allowing Tyler White to get back to second base with nobody covering.
Miles Straw gets his first at bat after pinch running for Jake Marisnick last inning and takes a called strike. It's 1-1. At some point, you would have thought that Sam Travis, the first baseman, would have looped around.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of looking for, and I got lost in calling the play and watching the guys run around, and if there was going to be a play at the plate, because usually you're right, exactly right, that the first baseman is trailing the hitter around first base to second base. But that might have been, I think DeJesus gave him the baseball, and as he ran him off, he just completely vacated. But you need the outfielders to break in towards the diamond to be that safety valve on those bases.
Remember, you were pretty fond of the adjustment Tyler White made last season, and he's certainly one of the lead candidates. We mentioned J.D. Davis, A.J. Reed in the mix. Any of the outfielders are really in the mix when you consider Marwin Gonzalez able to play first base, but good job moving the runner, if nothing else. Zue Lin, but Miles Straw speed beats it. Hello there. Speed from Straw beats the throw on A nice play by Zhu Lin. Nothing else he could do.
Yeah, what looked like was going to be a quality AB and moving the runner over. And you want to see the young guys late in ball games do things like this because it tells you that they understand the game. But at the same time, Miles Straw is not giving up on the play, knowing that his wheels could turn that into a hit.
Who would win between Straw and Fisher, I wonder?
I'd like to see it.
Elite speed.
Want to take a straw poll? Sorry.
Some fans were upset the other night, or the other afternoon, because we had a couple of Straw references.
What did I do now?
We had a couple of Straw references, which I thought we played okay, but Sip was on the mound at the time.
Oh,
and
we missed that
one. Yeah, we missed our really golden opportunity. Here's Tony Kemp facing another lefty.
That's why we're here, spring training.
Yep, we're working it out. Like Julia said, it's all about working it out, the kinks, the chemistry.
We need to do it. Don't get complacent.
Astros scoring 2 in the 5th, 2 more here in the 6th, lead at 6-3. But Straw's been impressive in the few times we've seen him this spring.
Yeah, speed is fun to watch in baseball. Creates all kinds of issues.
Breaking ball, Kemp takes for a ball. It's 2-0. Kemp able to hit a sac fly his last time up, facing a lefty. That was against the lefty Josh Smith. Now he faces the lefty Daniel McGrath. AJ giving him a start in left field, where he has been most of the spring. Played a lot of second base last year. He's going to make this team. He might see some time in the outfield more than in second with the reigning AL MVP over there. Three 3-0 the count. Green light. Kyle Tucker has grabbed the bat. He is on deck. He will pinch hit for Derek Fisher. Now the count's full. Kemp with his first spring training hit in his second AB, 1 for 2 with that sac fly. In the air, shallow, or deep shortstop, shallow left, didn't even get out of the infield. Herrero able to make the play. Kemp retired after being ahead of the count 3-0. First out of the inning. New pitcher will come on as Alex Cora goes out to the mound to get his lefty Daniel McGrath. We'll tell you about the new pitcher when we come back. with a 15-game flex plan or get the best giveaways with a 10-game bobblehead plan. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com/mini-plans to get yours today.
Good read. Nailed it.
Thanks, Blummer.
Yeah, I'm here for you.
We're still in the bottom half of the 6th inning. It's 6-3 Astros doubling up the Red Sox. And the new pitcher for the Red Sox is the right-hander Matthew Gorst, 23-year-old out of Alpharetta, Georgia, went to Georgia Tech. And Kyle Tucker is pretty happy with that pitching change as he gets to face a righty now.
It is pretty good.
But Daniel McGrath had reached his pitch total. It's been quite a spring for the young 21-year-old Kyle Tucker.
Tied for the team lead in home runs.
Yep.
Dose.
3-run shot and a 2-run home run. He is 4 for 11. With 2 home runs and 5 runs batted in. And he has earned the nickname Ted in the clubhouse.
Teddy Ballgame.
Yep.
Stole it from Nori Aoki.
Nori ended up going back to Japan, huh?
I guess so.
And play in Japanese League. Tucker deep to right field, and this ball into the wind, carrying over the wall. Ted has done it again. A 3-run homer to go along with another 3-run homer and a 2-run shot this spring. Kyle Tucker, have a spring, the 21-year-old.
You know, one of these days he's going to live up to that prospect status. So far here early in spring, he has been a lot of fun to watch. He took a first pitch fastball in the inner third, didn't worry about it, got himself a breaking ball coming right back into the barrel, and he hammered it. Majestic ball flight out there into right field.
Now Anibal Sierra lifts one into right, long run, and a nice sliding catch made by Rusney Castillo. You never know here at this ballpark when a ball's a towering shot if it's got enough into right field. But he got enough.
He got plenty of it. And you're right, even with that ball, the trajectory is so high in the air, the wind still not able to bring it back. Yeah, that's saying something here at this ballpark here in West Palm Beach.
It is a 9-3 lead. As Kyle Tucker has hit his 3rd home run of the spring and just his 12th at-bat. He just turned 21 in January.
So you're saying there's a high ceiling on this guy?
I'm saying there's a chance. Max Stassi with a 2-0 count. Stassi getting his first at-bat after taking over for Evan Gattis. Stassi pops one high in the air. Zue Lin puts it away for the final out, but a 2-run double by Tyler White and a 3-run home run by Kyle Tucker has broken this game open. And two of the brilliant shining stars this spring have been Rogelio Armenteros and Kyle Tucker.
Armenteros got the start of the inaugural game this season here in spring training, did a great job going 2 innings. Then we had a chance to see him out in Port St. Lucie go 3 innings strong, and also you get a good look at Kyle Tucker going Oppo Taco, one of his 3 home runs, hit his 3rd one here today on this swing right here on a breaking ball down and in. Not much of a load, very quiet, head stays still, sees the pitch for a very long time, and then just absolutely unleashes the fury on it, launching a majestic home run to right field. As much as we know about Kyle Tucker, Rogelio Armenteros is a guy we're learning a little bit about here in spring training, and some of the quotes from A.J. Hinch earlier today about Armenteros were very good, but one that kind of jumped out at me said that he might be in the big leagues this year, given the opportunity, if he maintains his health and pitching in the way he is now.
He has looked very impressive in 5 innings of work in those 2 outings. There are probably people saying, well, what about Kyle Tucker?
Jeez, I know.
You don't want to rush the kid when you have so much offense and there's really not a spot for him. But wow, what a spring. What a spring by Kyle Tucker. 3 multi-run home runs in 12 at bats. Ground ball, new right side of the infield for the Astros. That was fielded by Antonio Nunez. Randy Cesar with the play at first.
I'm going to say all the production that Ted Tucker's throwing out there right now, all that's doing is driving Jeff Luhnow nuts. Because the phone calls that he gets now are, hey, I'll give you this guy for Kyle Tucker. I'll give you this guy for Kyle Tucker. All it does is make him that much more appealing to 29 other ball clubs.
And now he's playing a really shallow right with Devin Marrero up there, trying to cut off a possible base hit.
That's really the only thing we haven't seen Ted do is play defense. He hasn't been challenged too much out there in right field. It's been pretty leisurely for him.
Well, he has had quite a spring already, and we're only in the first day of March as Marrero grounds one foul. This is the end of the first full week of games.
I know this has nothing to do with Kyle Tucker, but we really haven't seen the Astros shift a whole lot in this ball game against the Red Sox for whatever reason.
Tucker last year, Bowie's Creek, 9 home runs. Corpus Christi, 16 home runs, combined for 25. Drove in a combined 90 runs, just 120 games. Pitch by Hoyt there, getting Marrero on 3 pitches. James Hoyt really came on strong last year at the beginning. And his strikeouts to 9 stayed pretty impressive for the entire season, but at one point it was in the 15 range.
Yeah, early on, his first, 15 appearances, it felt like that's all he did is just come in and punch everybody out.
He'll be competing for one of those last 2 spots, or maybe the last spot in the bullpen. It's close to a team that doesn't have really many answers to fill, although now that Yuli Gurriel may be down for about 6 weeks after the hamate bone surgery. He may see an extra race for that final spot, but also that last arm out of the bullpen. Something James Hoyt hopes his name will be called. It's 2-0 to Rusney Castillo.
Well, the Astros like the swing and miss factor from guys in their bullpen, because if they have to come in and clean up some innings, it's nice to know they have the strikeout ability.
To third base, Jack Mayfield makes the play across, and James Hoyt with a 1-2-3 7th inning. Astros lead. Time for the 7th inning stretch, and time for us to kick it back to Kevin Eschenfelder and Mike Stanton in our Rooms to Go lounge. As we head to the bottom half of the 7th inning, Astros scoring 2 runs in the 5th inning, 5 runs in the 6th inning, 2-run double by Tyler White, and a 3-run home run by Kyle Tucker. Good crowd on hand at the 15 ballpark of the Palm Beaches, and now we see a kid who went to high school just south of Houston. Last name may be familiar as well. It's Jake Cozart, younger brother of Jared Cozart, went to Clear Creek High School. He comes on to pitch for the Boston Red Sox here in the bottom half of the 7th.
And you just saw right there, pretty violent delivery. To see what the miles per hour are on the fastball. He also has a slider and a changeup. But just in watching him in between innings, slows up a little bit on that changeup.
Jake Cozart, 6'2", 175-pounder, 24 years old.
Just hope he doesn't have that same cutter that his brother had. Cutter was a great pitch.
Here you see that delivery Blummer described. It's 1-0 to Jack Mayfield, getting his first at bat.
90 tree.
It's going to be around. It's just how we're going to assimilate.
2-0 the count. Clear Creek High School, also where Jay Buhner attended. Obviously his brother Jared. Down by the NASA headquarters. I'm going to finally get to go, Blummer. You helped set that up for me.
Yeah, you've been talking about it for years.
Conflicts.
Maybe just a year.
Finally, the Monday before the season starts, so the 26th.
That'll be a good time. You'll enjoy that.
I think there's a night game there at Minute Maid Park, so I'll go from the NASA tour to the exhibition against the Brewers, but I am fired up. Wife Michelle is excited about that too. You went with the family?
Yeah, I've been with the family. I've been by myself. Every time we go down there, it's a great showing. Mike Foreman is a good friend of mine who hooks us up down there. We've also, if you hang around in town long enough, you can actually say that you have a couple of different astronauts as your friends.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Well, Jake Cozart comes into this game and ends up walking Jack Mayfield on 4 pitches. Now Randy Cesar gets his first at bat. Cesar taking over for J.D. Davis, who was on twice today, a double and a walk, scored a run. J.D. playing third and first base. Cesar fouls one back.
Bit of a wrinkle right there from Cozart. Slider.
In the dirt, Mayfield trying to advance. The throw goes into center field. Mayfield will continue on to third. And the throw there. And Super Jack doing his thing in the spring.
Making things happen. Surprised that ball didn't get away for a Little League home run. Good job on the secondary, recognizing ball in the dirt, forcing the throw, and it goes into center. He takes another 90 feet.
Wild pitch and an error on the catcher. First Red Sox error of the day, and now the infield comes in. 2-2 the count. 95 on that fastball from Cozart. Clear Creek Wildcats. Called third strike. Cesar was not so sure that was a strike, but Larry Vanover said it caught the corner. And that's the first out of the bottom half of the 7th inning. Designated hitter spot due up, and Tim Fedorovich will get his first at bat. A.J. Reed went 0 for 2, was hit by a pitch and scored a run. as the DH. Federovich swings through that. It's 0-1. Red Sox led this game 3-2 heading into the bottom half of the 5th inning, but the Astros have scored 7 unanswered in the last couple of innings. Now Cozart ahead of Federovich 0-2. Like Federovich is saying, what pitch is that? One and two the count.
His brother made his debut in Tampa Bay against the Tampa Bay Rays. One of the more interesting quotes I've probably heard since taking over up here in the booth is Evan Longoria has said that his brother Jared, his cutter, was eerily reminiscent to Mariano Rivera.
Wow.
This is a bold statement.
It is. That's the king of the cutter. After being down in the count, Federovich now has worked the count full. Jared Cozart last year with the Padres.
Only in the summer.
Down and in, Federovich holds up and draws a walk after getting down in the count 0-2. Shows some good patience. Now the Astros with runners on first and third and 1 out. Antonio Nunez will get an at bat. Antonio Nunez, the batter, first and third. Astros trying to tack on to this 9-3 lead. Nunez taking over at second base. 25-year-old who last year played 114 games for Corpus Christi, mostly at short. Checked his swing, fouled it at the plate. It's 2-1. I was looking online to see if anybody picked up Jared Cozart. I have not seen him join another team after pitching for the Padres a bit last year. Slowly hit, and it'll be tough to turn two, so they only had to play at first, which means another run scores, and the Astros have reached double digits. It's now 10-3 on the RBI ground out by Antonio Nunez.
I wonder if he's taking part in that free agent camp.
Over at the IMG Academy in Bradenton, former Astro manager Bo Porter is running that camp. A lot of guys, a lot of big names still out there.
There's some pretty good ball players on that free agent list, yes.
We're slowly seeing that list dwindle, and we'll show you that list next half inning. It's always dangerous to get into a story with 2 outs, but there's some guys that can help some teams in 2018 that are waiting for a phone call, or at least their agents are. Here's Miles Straw. Beat out a ground ball on the right side impressively his last time up. Now he has a 2-0 count. Jake's brother, Jared, who is currently a free agent, is just 27 years old. Astros for 2 years, Marlins for parts of 3 seasons. In the last a couple of years with the Padres. Hopped high in the air. Foul territory. Ivan DeJesus Jr. puts it away. And that will do it for the Astros in the 7th. But they had a run. It's now 10-3. Presented by Whataburger. Don't miss the new Mushroom Swiss Burger at Whataburger, available for a limited time. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Spring training started earlier this year than ever, February 23rd, the first game, but there are still a lot of names as we begin the month of March that are out there that you would think would be able to help a team at the big league level. Astros lead 10-3 as we head to the 8th. We mentioned that free agent camp in Bradenton, Florida. These guys, Blummer, still out there.
It's amazing. And you read articles where they just nitpick these guys apart, maybe why they haven't been signed, but there's really no reason why these guys haven't been signed other than maybe the term of the contract as far as years are concerned. These guys have played well enough to earn big league contracts. Just a matter of getting both sides to engage and get to numbers that they really want to have. The interesting one for me is Moustakas. You know, being a Southern California guy, when he went into the offseason, I just assumed he would turn into a Los Angeles Angel of Anaheim along the San Andreas Fault and play third base for him. But they made their additions with Cozart from Cincinnati and Ian Kinsler at second base. We'll get into that a little bit later, but some quality pitching in Lance Lynn, Jake Arrieta, very good catcher in Jonathan LaCroix. Appealing guys just trying to find homes.
Jacob Doris makes quick work of Steve Selsky, or Sam Travis, the batter. Steve Selsky striking out. Here are some of the key additions that have already been made by teams that are kind of vying for that American League pennant.
Yeah, the big ones you're going to hear about are with New York and Boston, JD, Giancarlo. But in our division, Los Angeles Angels that we talked about, Shohei Ohtani, it's going to be fun to watch what he does. Cozart's going to be playing third base while Kinsler's at second base. And I'm actually kind of curious because Jerry Dipoto up there in Seattle makes a ton of moves, and he really made a concerted effort to get the outfield better, and it was better. We saw the outs above average. But D. Gordon, that trade is interesting to me because he is a second baseman who will now be playing center field.
Red Sox do not look very comfortable with the delivery of one Jacob Doris so far.
Yeah, he's bringing the funk.
Yeah, always a big transition to go at that point in your career to,
yeah,
like a D. Gordon, to go out to the outfield. Yu Darvish didn't sign till late. Chicago Cubs. Kyle Straw calls off everybody, makes the play in center field. So a strikeout and a fly out on a 0-2 pitch. Doris looking impressive here in the top half of the 8th inning.
Here's today's attendance, 5,853. 5853.
Almost 6,000 fans here in attendance today.
Yep, was pretty good. 5,853 strong.
Our best crowd of the 2018 spring training season. On the ground, Jacob Doris does his job, getting a 1-2-3 inning. Ivan De Jesus Jr. with a ground ball to third, and that'll do it. We head to the bottom of the 8th. It's still 10-3. By authority of Houston Astros LLC and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Houston Astros LLC.
Back here at 15 Ballpark in the Palm Beaches, 10-3 Astros. And watch the Astros in more ways than ever before by downloading the new AT&T Sportsnet app from iTunes or Google Play, or visit the AT&TSportsnet.com to stream on your computer. Log in with your cable account and you're all set. Available for those with AT&T Sportsnet in their TV subscription. Blackout and territorial restrictions apply. TK?
Thank you, Julia. By the way, are you thinking of doubling up? We haven't had a repeat interview yet, but Kyle Tucker's got to be a lead candidate today, huh?
What do you think those veteran guys would think of that? Is that too much?
I don't know. What are you thinking of?
It's Ted.
It is Ted. I don't want to break any rules, though. I'll have to ask Tyler White.
Yeah, Tyler seems to be the go-to guy for.
He's officially a part of the PR staff.
He's down there. Is he down there helping you out?
No.
Directing. Well, isn't he the one that got Ryan Burke for you that one day?
That was all Tyler White. He was on him before that third hit. It was after the second hit.
Yeah.
Tyler was recommending Ryan
Solidified
Burke.
it.
And then he just piled on with his third hit just for fun. John Kemmer's the batter. Facing a new pitcher, Matthew Kent, on for the Boston Red Sox. Kemmer gets his first at bat. 27-year-old. Taking over in left field. Kent's a guy that went to Texas A&M out of Waco, Texas. 25-year-old lefty on the mound. A few lefties we've seen today out of the Red Sox. Have another one warming up now. You know, we showed you those four guys that were on that graphic for available free agents. Alex Cobb still out there.
Yeah.
Greg Holland still out there.
Ooh. Ooh.
There's some impressive names that are filling up that free agent camp in Bradenton, Florida. John Lackey. Just looking over the list. I mean, there's a lot of names here. I'm skipping over some of them.
Yeah, there are a lot of names.
But Bo Porter said he was going to try and run it just like a major league camp.
Minus the games?
Minus the game. Minus the fact that they actually play
a lot of sim games going on, I bet, out there.
2-2 pitch hits John Kemmer. Well, Kemmer will trot down to first base. And the man of spring training strides to the plate. His given name is Kyle. He has become Ted during spring training. His swing was compared to Ted Williams. Players in the Astros clubhouse have put Ted on his locker, and he's lived up to the moniker.
Against Ted's old team.
How about it? 3 home runs in 12 spring training at bats. And a 3-run shot to start the spring, another 3-run shot today, in between a 2-run home run. We've seen him go opposite field. Today's was down the right field side. Kyle Tucker is now 5 for 12 with 3 home runs and 8 runs batted in.
Isn't it in the press level at Fenway Park where they have a picture of Ted Williams in his towel and in his stance holding a bat?
Yeah.
Now, if Ted Tucker does that and I see that in our press level at Minute Maid Park, I'm going to be very concerned.
Home run came against a righty. Now he gets to face a left-hander. 2-1 the count. Astros minor league player of the year, Kyle Tucker. All publications list him as the top prospect, and he has showed why in spring training. It's 3-1. Everywhere he went last year, Bowie's Creek, Corpus Christi, he was always one of the youngest guys in his league at that level. And here he is in spring training, one of the younger guys playing in these games at age 21. On the outside corner, Tucker thought it was ball 4. Larry Vanover called it a strike.
He doesn't get Ted's strike zone.
No.
Going to have to work on a subtraction to get that number down a little bit. Larry Vanover, come back here, son.
Called third strike outside corner. And a couple of tough pitches from Matthew Kent to strike out Kyle Tucker for the first out.
Kent did a good job of painting that down and away corner. He's human.
Anibal Sierra, the batter. Pitch inside.
Could you hear Julia after that punch out?
Exhaled.
Yeah, she went, not him.
Shoo. If he would have hit another one, she would have had no choice.
Just hand him the microphone and walk away.
1-1 the count. Well, the problem with all those free agents, and we showed you last inning and talked about at the beginning of this inning, is they're starting to run out of time to really get all their work in. And I know, like I said, Bo Porter and the group, Dave Gallagher, I think, is helping him out, the former outfielder. There's only so much you can simulate without actually being on the team that you're eventually going to try and make out of spring training.
Yeah, there's got to be a date that might be a threshold that they say anything past this certain date, they may not be ready for in-game action, so they may have to go on. I don't know how they would do it, maybe a rehab assignment technically, or I'm not sure how that would work. You'd have to assign them to a team if you're not going to put them on the big league roster.
We saw it rarely, but we saw like a Doug Fister last year not get signed until in the season. But there's way too many names to not think there's going to be 1 or 2 out there by opening day.
Yeah.
That are guys that are going to make an impact for some team that are still going to be in limbo.
That's the crazy thing. I mean, there are a lot of guys that will have an impact during this season once they finally get picked up.
Towards third, De Jesus Jr. to second for 1, and they start a double play. 10-3 is the score in favor of the Astros as we head to inning number 9.
And play is presented to you by Toyota, and there was plenty of getting out and playing for the Houston Astros last year, 2017 playoff memory. Game 5, Carlos Correa, big home run amongst many of the big hits in that Game 5. Guys in the dugout wishing that ball out of here. Their wish came true, showing some enthusiasm and joy. That was big moment after big moment in that Game 5. Alex Bregman will eventually have the final say in that Game 5. But at that given moment, Carlos Correa's home run, one of the biggest in the game.
Love the crowd reacts to behind the flares. What an emotional roller coaster. As we begin the 9th with a new pitcher for the Astros, Riley Farrell. There are some twists and turns throughout the postseason. We have documented many of those during our first 5 spring training telecasts. There's a base hit for Nuri Tavares in his first at bat. Tavares with a clean single into right. Today's game looks as follows. The Astros got on the board early in the 3rd inning with some good hustle by Carlos Correa. Beat out fielder's choice, and Miles Straw showed some speed beating out this ground ball.
Never give up on the play.
And then Kyle Tucker.
Who?
Ted
Tucker. Going deep into right field. Something we don't see very often here in West Palm Beach. Tough to leave. Wind blows in from right consistently, but he had plenty on it.
It's funny you said that. I was trying to go through my mental Rolodex and see if anybody else had hit one out to right. It seemed like every other home run during our broadcast had been to left field in this stadium.
Yeah, the wind kind of pushing it across the left field. It was definitely the first one here in this spring.
That right?
Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to remember if anybody else on either a visiting team or the Astros had gone out to right, and I didn't think so.
I just remember last year, Bryce Harper, first couple games here in West Palm Beach, taking some circuitous routes out there because he was trying to deal with the wind.
Esteban Quiroz gets his first at bat. We'll be back with you tomorrow night, our lone night game on the television spring schedule. Kick it off 4:30 Central with our pregame show, 5 o'clock game time. Astros taking on the New York Mets, a team they've already seen a couple of times. It'll be our first look at Garrett Cole on TV. He made his first start on the road in Jupiter and pitched 2 perfect innings against the Cardinals. Armenteros went 2 shutout innings in his first start of the spring, followed up by Colin McHugh with 2 shutout innings in the second game. Garrett Cole 2 perfect innings in Game 3. Justin Verlander 2 perfect innings in Game 4. Brad Peacock 2 shutout innings in Game 5. Lance McCullers 2 shutout innings in Game 6, and today Charlie Morton 2 shutout innings in Game 7. It was a split squad game where they gave up some runs. Francis Marquez start, but in all the games that A.J. Hinch has managed, his starters have gone 14 innings of shutout baseball, and not many hits in the mix either.
They weren't exactly high stress innings. They mowed through those innings and those batters pretty easily.
Riley Farrell, the 24-year-old right-hander on the mound, out of College Station, Texas. Went to A&M Consolidated, then TCU for 2013 through 15. Farrell appeared in a couple of World Series back-to-back before he was a 3rd-round pick in the 2015 draft. Just missed, 3-2.
Take your word for it.
Oh, a strike to Kyle Tucker. Tavares on first base. pretty well to center field, sending Straw all the way back. Miles Straw makes a diving attempt but can't come up with it. It goes all the way to the wall. Around third comes Tavares. He is going to score. Quiros with a pinch hit triple to make it a 10-4 game.
Red Sox aren't going to go quietly into the afternoon. Ball well struck. Straw trying to get there with that electric speed, just out of his reach as he lays out. Not a bad idea to try and lay out and pick up your pitcher Riley Farrell in that situation with the wall just right there. Scoreboard also helps you out making that decision too.
Oscar Hernandez, the batter. Looking forward to seeing Garrett Cole for the first time as an Astro. I know we said he pitched. That was not a televised game. We did not make that journey down to Jupiter. I think you've seen every other spring game this year, but we'll get to see Cole for the first time tomorrow.
Yeah, I did miss that one, but it will be fun to watch him pitch.
Hernandez batting for the second time, grounded into a fielder's choice in the 6th inning. 2-1 the count.
We didn't have enough time to talk to AJ in that 4th inning. We probably could have asked him for a scouting report for tomorrow on Garrett Cole.
Mm-hmm.
He threw 2 innings in his first appearance in an Astros uniform, which tells us he possibly will go 3 innings tomorrow night.
Line drive caught by Randy Cesar for the first out. Hit hard by Hernandez, but results in an out. Oh, 1 out, a runner on third, and Nick Lavulo will bat.
Any relation to Torrey? Another ex-teammate of mine now managing in Arizona.
That's exactly what I was looking up.
Torrey Lavulo was the bench coach for John Farrell in Boston before getting that job in Arizona.
Yep.
Took him to the playoffs last year.
Torrey and Nick are father and son, so good to see Torrey Lavulo, son Nick, get a chance to play in this game. Out of Thousand Oaks, California, just 24 years old. He's going to get an RBI in this AB. Nick Lavulo grounds out, but he drives in a run. It's now 10-5. Saw Ivan DeJesus Jr. earlier, the son of longtime Cubs and Phillies infielder Ivan DeJesus, and now Nick Lavulo, the son of Torrey Lavulo, drives in a run. Chad De La Guerra gets an at bat. It's now a 10-5 game with that run scoring. In the air to center. Miles Straw came in. Now he goes back. He puts it away, and that will put a bow on this one. The Astros victorious over the Boston Red Sox by the final score of 10-5. The Astros improve on the spring to 6-2. And that's the same mark for the Red Sox after their loss. We'll have plenty more, including the post-game show right around the corner.